the supreme dragon of the era of Tamers. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1 Innate Talent. The lake water looked crystal clear under the blue sky. The sun shone on the shimmering lake surface, as if it was covered with a layer of glittering silver. At the edge of the reservoir, a young man was fishing with a fishing rod. There was a bucket next to him, but there was nothing in the bucket except water. "Boss, can you add 2 more hours?" Chen Wei said slowly. The owner of the reservoir frowned when he heard this impressive voice. He looked up and saw that it was the handsome boy with delicate features and fair skin. He quickly refused. "I can't add extra time for fishing here." Then he subconsciously complained, "It's strange to say, except for you, few people can catch the red-tailed goldfish in this reservoir. How's your luck today?" Name: red-tailed goldfish. Attributes: none. Racial level: low-level ordinary. Racial skills: water jump. Introduction: living in lakes, it is said that this ornamental dragonfish contains a trace of dragon blood. It has almost no combat power. Basically no one will choose to contract this kind of pet, but it is loved by people because of its beautiful appearance and is often raised for viewing. After all, there is still one at home. The specific information of this pet immediately emerged in Chen Wei's mind. "It seems that my luck is a bit bad today," Chen Wei said helplessly. "Not bad." Hearing this, Boss Lin couldn't help but smile, and then said, "There is still 1 hour left. You kid, please show some mercy. Don't catch a few red-tailed goldfish like last time, otherwise I will lose a lot of money." "No problem." An hour later, Boss Lin looked at a red-tailed goldfish in the bucket, and an expression of disbelief appeared on his face. "This is your mercy. In a total of 4 hours, I only caught 1 fish," Chen Wei said as a matter of course. "Of course I showed mercy. Fishermen will never come back empty-handed." This was the first time in Boss Lin's life that he saw a fisherman who couldn't catch any other fish. Why did he have to pick on his red-tailed goldfish? "Are you still accepting this?" Chen Wei raised the bucket in his hand and said with a smile, tilting his head. "Take it." The size of these red-tailed goldfish is slightly smaller than the last one. Boss Lin rolled his eyes helplessly. "Last time, the 4 fish were 8,000 yuan in total. How about this one for 1,800 yuan? Okay." Chen Wei took out his mobile phone and skillfully opened the Star Coin QR code with his mobile phone. Boss Lin, who wanted to cry but had no tears, transferred the money to Chen Wei. It was really weird. When did the red-tailed goldfish in the reservoir become so easy to catch? Although he could make some money by reselling them, for him, less profit was equal to loss. Boss Lin suddenly remembered something, raised his head and looked at Chen Wei seriously and said, "I remember that you and Hichen were classmates. Are you going to be a senior this year?" "Yeah, school starts tomorrow." Chen Wei glanced at Boss Lin and said, "If school starts tomorrow, then I can just sign a contract for my initial pet." Boss Lin raised his eyebrows and asked eagerly, "Have you chosen your pet?" "I have a way to get a high-level extraordinary pet with a huge discount." "No, I can't afford that kind of pet." Chen Wei turned his head and glanced at the coyote dog not far from Boss Lin. "Rather than talking about these, you might as well give it more food. Look, it's eating dirt again." Boss Lin tilted his head in confusion. Name: coyote dog. Attribute: earth. Racial level: medium special. Racial skills: breath detection, rock claws, bite. Introduction: a special creature evolved from a domesticated wolfhound in the past. It can get nutrition by eating soil and is good at using its nose to search and detect the enemy's scent. I'm just kindly recommending a pet to you. If you don't want it, forget it. Let me make it clear first, 3 times is the limit. If you come a few more times, I will go bankrupt and it will be my turn to eat dirt." Boss Lin shook his head and changed the subject. "You are not allowed to fish here." "Got it, I won't come next time." Chen Wei turned around and walked out of the reservoir. It was not easy to get the pet from Boss Lin. He had already set a target for the initial pet. Chen Wei, carrying a bag on his back and a bucket in his hand, got on the bus. The bus ran quickly along the route and arrived in the city in a short while. He got off the bus and walked home with the crowd. After walking through one street after another, his steps began to slow down. It was a dim alley. There was a shabby apartment on the right side of the alley. There were noisy restaurants selling food around the apartment. The door of the apartment was open and not locked. He walked up the stairs to the 4th floor. On the left side of the stairs was a small single room. The shabby door was written with 403. This was his home for 2 years. Lying on the comfortable bed, Chen Wei rested his right arm on his forehead. In the shadow, his eyes revealed a hint of loss and desire. This world is very strange. There is an extraordinary power here, source power. Most animals and plants in the world can therefore awaken higher wisdom and powerful talents, and even elements such as wind, snow, thunder and lightning, flames and flowing water can evolve into life forms. Humans can also awaken superpowers through source power, but although the strength of superpowers is not weak, it is still much worse than that of the unique beasts. Weak humans are regarded as ants by most beasts, and some human tribes have to obtain the protection of some powerful beasts through sacrifices. But the strongest point of humans lies in creation and application, with a long development of time. Humans discovered that absorbing the source power between heaven and earth has a chance to awaken the beast-controlling talent in their minds, Source Star. Through the Source Star, you can force a contract to capture the beast, or even force the beast to be controlled. This powerful existence that controls the beast is honored as a Beastmaster. The combat power of Beastmasters at the same level is much stronger than that of superpowers, so Beastmasters gradually began to flourish, and the number of human superpowers has become less and less. As of now, tens of thousands of years later, humans have established a glorious beast-controlling civilization, but it is a pity that the overlord of Blue Star is still the beast, and the human race can only live in seclusion. Therefore, the human race has a common dream, which is to explore the origin of all things, the pillar of the world, the Source World Tree. If the Source World Tree can be successfully explored and studied, perhaps the human race can become the overlord of the Blue Planet. It is a pity that all kinds of powerful beasts of the Blue Planet live around the Source World Tree. It is rumored that there are even beasts with the power to destroy the world and the world entrenched on the World Tree. So far, no human race has ever reached the Source World Tree. Many scholars even speculate that the source power may be directly or indirectly born through the World Tree. At present, the master of the Blue Planet is still the beast, and the beast occasionally attacks human cities. Chen Wei's parents died in the king-level beast-tide disaster 12 years ago. Therefore, Chen Wei spent a long time in the welfare house until he chose to leave after he awakened his talent at the age of 16. On the Blue Planet, everyone has 3 opportunities to awaken a beast talent, that is, the Source Star, at the ages of 16, 17, and 18. If the Source Star fails to awaken 3 times, it means that there is no beast talent, and people with a beast talent have the chance to awaken a natal talent when awakening the Source Star. The Source Star covers 5 elements, and one of the 5 elements can be chosen. Only one innate talent can be awakened. This is the iron rule of the known history of humans on Blue Star. Those who can become Beastmasters do not necessarily have innate talents, but those who have innate talents are definitely Beastmasters. Chen Wei awakened his innate talent, identification, at the school's ceremony for awakening beast talents. He can detect the racial level and potential of alien beasts, the effects of natural treasures, and even feel the emotions of alien beasts. The talent that Chen Wei awakened is not suitable for fighting, but compared with the strange talents awakened by other classmates, it is still good. Class teacher Mr. Zhou strongly suggested that Chen Wei develop in the direction of an appraiser, but Chen Wei refused. With his parents' inheritance, a single apartment allocated by the state, and a monthly pension, Chen Wei has a lot of savings that can be used to buy and train pets. He does not want to be a professional appraiser, he wants to be a powerful professional beast master, or even a dragon master. Chapter 2 Dragon Crystal. Tomorrow is the day when the school assigns pets. I wonder if I can subdue a high-level extraordinary pet, Chen Wei murmured. Middle schools in Donghu country basically assign pets to students when they are in the 2nd year of high school. Most of the pets assigned are above the medium-level special level, and very few pets are of high-level extraordinary level. Of course, the pets assigned by the school are charged, and the level of the pets will not be the top elite level. Pets above this level can only be purchased at the pet store, but the price is very touching and it is difficult to contract. Generally, only students with superior family background and outstanding talents will choose to buy at the pet store, which is not something Chen Wei can expect. Most students can only choose to subdue pets in the pet house assigned by the school. The pets sold in the pet house are greatly discounted and loans are allowed. The medium-level special pets in the pet house are basically 70% off the price of the same pets in the pet store. If the students are the relatives of martyrs, The price is even only half of the price of the pet store. Although the price is favorable, the pets in the pet house are not weak. The pets in the beast taming house are the pets that the Shushan pet breeding base has found to be more suitable for novices in its breeding and research. Of course, if you want pets of other races, you can also apply to the pet breeding base in Shushan City in advance. The pets in the Shushan breeding base are rich and varied, but whether it is an adult pet or a cub, the difficulty of contracting is much more difficult than the pets in the beast taming house. However, if the contract fails at the base on the same day, then you can only go to the beast taming house to choose a pet every other week, and by then the excellent pets are probably contracted away by others. Unless you can prepare high-quality pets in advance, you can only choose the remaining pets. Therefore, those who choose to apply to the Shushan breeding base are either awakened to their own innate abilities, confident enough, or rich people with minds at home. Of course, there are also many people who want to take a chance by luck, and Chen Wei happens to be the former, and he is very confident in himself. Chen Wei turned around and stood up, taking out a jade box from his body. He opened it gently with his right hand. On the left side of the jade box was a crystal clear red crystal, and on the right side was a pure white magic core. It was the magic core of the top elite ice scorpion, which was a level 4 resource. This high-level magic core can slightly enhance the efficiency of the Beastmaster's meditation. It is a precious property left to him by his original father. That's right, Chen Wei is a time traveler. It's just that when he was born, he was no different from an ordinary baby, but as he grew older, he occasionally felt familiar in his life, and he awakened his memories of his previous life a year ago. When the memory awakened, Chen Wei's brain received many complicated memories in a trance. They were fleeting pictures and words, and the last picture left in his mind was a bright round bead with a red glow. In his previous life, he liked animals and was a zookeeper. He was mainly responsible for cleaning the zoo's house and preparing enough feed to feed the animals. Unexpectedly, the zoo was poorly managed and he was forced to lose his job. As a result, he encountered an accident and came to this blue planet full of extraordinary power and powerful beasts. Chen Wei touched the bead with his mind, and the bead moved slightly, sending a message, which was his second innate talent, power of controlling dragons. You gain affinity with dragons, and your charm increases when you come into contact with most pets. Even fierce and brutal beasts will get close to you instead of actively attacking you. You can greatly increase the intimacy and trust of pets to you through dragon power or dragon crystals. Consume your own physical strength to condense into dragon power, which can be directly absorbed by extraordinary creatures through physical contact. After extraordinary creatures absorb dragon power, their strength and potential can be enhanced to a certain extent. Dragon crystals are special crystals produced by combining a drop of host blood with dragon power. They can consume physical strength to condense and strengthen multiple times, and have incredible changes. Swallowing crystals can make the blood of extraordinary creatures mutate and evolve in the direction of dragons, and can also be used as special evolution materials, breaking the record to obtain such a powerful second special talent. Power of controlling dragons made Chen Wei have an extraordinary desire for extraordinary power. He didn't want to continue to be an unknown bottom in his second life. He wanted to be a bright star that illuminates the world. After collecting his thoughts, Chen Wei took out the magic core of the ice demon scorpion from the jade box and placed it beside him, and began to absorb the source power and strength in the source star every day. Generally, practitioners place the magic core beside them and use the characteristics of the magic core that it will automatically gather the surrounding source power to practice. The magic core cannot be used directly for practice. Directly absorbing the source power in the magic core will make the source star unstable or even collapse. Chen Wei sat cross-legged on the bed and meditated, absorbing the source power overflowing between heaven and earth, and slowly stabilized and strengthened the source star in his mind. The tip of his 5-pointed source star flickered with the blue light, which was a sign of the perfection of the first-level source star. The source star in the mind is successfully transformed from virtual to real, which is the first-level source star. Only when the source star is cultivated to the first level can the pet be contracted. The students in the beast control class have basically cultivated to this level. In order to break through from the first level source star to the second level, the first level source star needs to be strengthened and condensed, so that the blue light overflowing at the tip of the source star becomes green light, and the volume of the source 5-pointed star needs to be doubled. Therefore, the owner of the second level source star is basically impossible to appear among the senior high school students. The owners of the second-level source stars that appeared occasionally were basically the top scorers in the college entrance examination in Shushan City. Perhaps because of the time travel, Chen Wei's cultivation efficiency was not only nearly twice as fast as before, but the size of the source star was also nearly doubled. Originally, his original cultivation talent was quite good. And now it can be said that he is 1 in a million. After 2 hours of meditation and cultivation, Chen Wei's source star corners occasionally glowed with a faint green light. This green light meant that in a short time, his source star would break through to the second level, and his innate talent would also be strengthened. After this Haoshan operation, Chen Wei stopped meditating on the source star, put the magic core into the jade box, and took out a crystal clear dragon crystal from the box. Primary dragon crystal. It has incredible changes, which can make the blood of extraordinary creatures evolve slightly, and there is a very small probability of awakening random dragon skills. Holding the red crystal in his hand, Chen Wei began his strengthening homework before going to bed every night. As soon as he made a thought, he felt his physical strength being gradually absorbed by the crystal in his hand. Waves of fatigue came from his mind, and at the same time, the dragon crystal began to flash red. Boom! When Chen Wei's physical strength was about to run out, there seemed to be a vibration in his mind, and the size of the dragon crystal in his hand was also growing rapidly at a speed visible to the naked eye. Excited, Chen Wei forced himself to cheer up and threw an identification at the dragon crystal. Intermediate dragon crystal. It has incredible changes, which can make the blood of extraordinary creatures evolve slightly, and awaken random dragon skills with a small probability. Chen Wei couldn't help but clench his fists with joy, and couldn't help but let out a yes. Sure enough, by constantly using his talent to condense and strengthen, the dragon crystal can be sublimated. It's worth his energy. After a year, he successfully upgraded the dragon crystal. Bang, 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 a series of noisy sounds came, and Chen Wei frowned and turned his head to see. In the fish tank at the edge of the cabinet in the room, a red-tailed goldfish with golden scales kept hitting the fish tank, and its originally cute eyes could be seen full of desire. Putting the dragon crystal into a jade box to isolate the smell, Chen Wei, who suppressed his joy and fatigue, stood up and walked to the fish tank, touched Xiaojin with his hand, and used his remaining strength to use a dragon power. It was so comfortable that the scales on its body were like golden silk, shining with light. It rubbed Chen Wei's palm affectionately, wagged its tail, and blew bubbles comfortably. Little guy, don't think about it. If nothing unexpected happens tomorrow, this dragon crystal will have an owner, Chen Wei said with a look of longing. Chapter 3 Pet Planning. All the red-tailed goldfish caught before were sold to Boss Lin, and only Xiaojin was taken home by Chen Wei to test the effect of the talent, dragon power. Through testing, Chen Wei found that Xiaojin's growth and development would grow rapidly if he only used dragon power once a day. Before, Xiaojin was only 20 centimeters in size, and after a week, his size jumped to 40 centimeters. The size is okay, but the most important thing is that Chen Wei found that Xiaojin had water attributes through identification. You should know that the red-tailed goldfish is just a low-level ordinary pet. Although it is a fish swimming in the water, it has no water attribute and can't even make a bubble skill. Its combat power is almost non-existent, and it is a pet that no one will contract. And just through Chen Wei's 1 week, dragon power, test, Xiaojin not only doubled in size, but also had water attributes and learned the bubble skill. Although it is still a scum, it has to be said that after having the attribute ability, Xiaojin has the potential to become a medium-level special pet. Generally, pets without attributes are weak chickens, and their levels are all ordinary. The race level of pets is divided into 9 levels: low-level ordinary, medium-level special, high-level extraordinary, top-level elite, transcendental leader, brilliant king, epic overlord, legendary emperor and immortal demigod. The race level is determined according to the upper limit of the pet's strength and is not universal, so the pet race level will continue to be subdivided, but the pets below the extraordinary race level will not be further subdivided. Only the quality of pets from the high-level extraordinary to the legendary emperor race will be divided into 4 levels of heaven, earth, and yellow, among which the yellow-level high-level extraordinary race is the lowest and the heaven-level legendary emperor race is the highest. The strength of pets is divided into 0 to 9 levels, with 0 level corresponding to the pet juvenile stage and 9 level corresponding to the immortal demigod. The next day, in the morning, the sun was clear. In the classroom of the beast taming class 2, Chen Wei sat on a chair and read a book attentively. On the cover of the book was written on the evolution of pets. Are you sure what pet you choose today? Old classmate Wang Zhichen touched Chen Wei's arm and said excitedly. You already knew that we applied for the quota for the Shushan pet breeding base together. Why didn't you go fishing yesterday? Chen Wei didn't even turn his head, his eyes still fixed on the book. I can't help it. Yesterday, Zingayao Mall just happened to have 10 portions of water of life. In order to contract the thornfish smoothly, I had to buy one. Are you really not going to change your target? No one in Shushan City has been able to successfully contract a pet in recent years. There is actually water of life. Did you buy it? Chen Wei was a little surprised and changed the subject. In the process of cultivating pets, beast control resources are indispensable. Beast control resources include natural treasures formed by the source of energy, and those carefully made by alchemists with medicinal materials. There is no difference between the two. Beast control masters are divided into levels 1 to 9 according to the effects of beast control resources. If further subdivided, the quality is divided into upper, middle, lower and top quality. For example, the magic core of a special level beast represents a level 2 inferior resource, while the water of life is a level 2 superior resource made by an alchemist. It has only one function: it can increase the potential of pets below the high-level extraordinary level, including extraordinary pets, so it is very attractive to pets. Because pets can only use it once in their lifetime, there are only level 2 superior products. However, because it is one of the few potions that can increase the potential of pets, people buy it in an endless stream. In the mall, the water of life is a rare resource that is in short supply. The price has reached 100,000 yuan per copy, which is equivalent to a level 3 resource in terms of value. Fortunately, I went early and grabbed a copy, Wang Zhichen said proudly. So that's it. I was wondering why the fishing place would be missing you. It seems that you are almost certain to contract a pet today. His deskmate Wang Zhichen, referred to as La Wang, looks honest. He is a standard fisherman and a rich second generation. He has been obsessed with water-based pets since he was a child. His biggest dream is to fish and catch a king-level beast. Chen Wei smiled but said nothing. Let's not talk about whether the king-level beasts can survive when encountering our small bodies. Even if they can survive, the beasts of that level cannot be caught by a mere fishing rod. You know, in Shushan City, the existence of king-level beast masters is rare, and there are only a handful of them. 12 years ago, 4 king-level beasts led the beast tide to raid Shushan City. At that time, the casualties caused to Shushan City were very heavy. Even the original body's parents died in that beast tide because they did not retreat in time. Dong dong dong, the sound of fingers tapping on the blackboard interrupted Chen Wei's memories. Be quiet and listen to me first. Students in the class who choose to go to the beast house can go down to the playground first, follow the arrangements of Teacher Li and get on the bus in an orderly manner. The bus will depart on time at 8 o'clock, a middle-aged man with a serious face said in a deep voice. As soon as the head teacher finished speaking, the excited students in the class could no longer hold back their inner expectations. While talking and laughing, they all accelerated the pace and left the classroom playfully. The noisy classroom gradually became quiet. Chen Wei glanced at the other students who were still sitting in the classroom. The number of people was a bit unexpected. In addition to himself, there were 21 students, almost half of the number of people in the beast taming class. Come with me. I have already told you what I should say. I will say it again. If the contract fails more than twice, the contract must be terminated. The pets in the breeding base may not be more suitable for you than the pets in the beast taming house. Do you understand? The head teacher Zhou Yuan frowned and said solemnly. Understood, everyone responded loudly. The head teacher usually said many times in class that the backlash of 2 consecutive contract failures would cause a great burden on the spirit. Continuing to insist on the contract may cause the source star level to fall, or even collapse. There are precedents for this kind of thing, but few people dare to try whether they are an exception. After an hour's drive, the bus finally arrived at the gate of the Shushan breeding base. After getting off the bus, the morning sun shone on Chen Wei through the clouds. He looked at the tall gate of the base in front of him. At the door, a man in police uniform was checking the identity of the students. Chen Wei and La Wang, one in front and one behind, lined up in an orderly manner under the leadership of Teacher Zhou to enter the gate. Not long after entering the gate, a girl in a robe and long black hair came from the hall and guided them to the corridor. I am your guide for contracting pets. My name is Qi Yunmen. There are no regulations for the selection of initial pet cubs. As long as it does not violate the law and does not harm the pet, you can contract the pet in any way, but you only have 2 chances. If you have any questions, you can stay and consult me first. If you don't have any questions, you can find the pet you want according to the map, only outside the base. Remember, no matter whether your contract is successful or not, you must go to the Beast Tamer Certification Hall here to confirm. I'm in Office 2. Qi Yunmeng pointed to the conspicuous map and hall not far from the corridor and said. Wang Zhichen looked at the map for a while, then walked to Chen Wei and patted Chen Wei on the shoulder. He shook his right thumb to the right and said, I'll go over there first. That's the ice lake breeding area for thornfish. As for the pet you want, it's in the snow mountain area in the north. Okay, we'll gather here after the contract is completed. Chen Wei waved his hand, then turned around and strode forward. It took a while, and according to the guidance of the map and landmarks, Chen Wei took a vehicle to the snow mountain area where ice pets were raised. It's rare to find an initial pet with both good looks and strength and high growth potential. In order to determine the initial pet, Chen Wei consulted a lot of information this year and finally found a rare pet like cold jade snake. The cold jade snake is one of the most beautiful snakes. It is said that even humans who are afraid of snakes will be intoxicated by its charm. It is one of the few pets with both ice and spiritual systems. Chapter 4, Cold Jade Snake. In order to facilitate the breeding and cultivation of different pets, the Shushan breeding base has created a variety of environmental areas with source power and technology, such as mountains, grasslands, deserts, lakes, snow-capped mountains, volcanoes, etc. At this time, in the sky of the snow-capped mountains, the snowflakes looked like small flowers made of fluff. When the wind blew, they looked like a white butterfly dancing. Chen Wei was walking through the fine snow, step by step, and finally came to a valley. In the valley of fine snow, 3 small snakes as white as jade were curled up to rest. In the bright sunshine, in the falling snowflakes, their scales shone with faint colorful light from time to time. There were 2 crystal-clear ice crystals on their heads, and their big watery eyes and slender bodies made them look more petite and cute. No wonder they were called jade snakes. Not far from the cold jade snake, a student wearing the uniform of Shushan No. 1 middle school was sitting slumped. It was probably because he had just suffered a backlash from the failure of the contract, and his face was a little pale. There was still some reluctance on his face. He sat on the snow with a lost look, staring at the cold jade snake. The petite cold jade snake opened its eyes impatiently, stood up and left, slowly crawling to the corner of the snow. Obviously, the disturbance of humans made it a little irritated. Name of pet, cold jade snake. Pet attribute, ice, spirit, racial level, earth level, high level, extraordinary, racial skills, cold breath, ice spikes, ice armor, ice hiding, charm, introduction, an extraordinary snake living in the snowy mountain area, with outstanding appearance, extremely fast speed, and arrogant personality. The probability of success of the initial contract for non-spiritual talent awakeners is extremely low. It will ignore the orders of masters with lower mental power than itself, and is good at using charm and freezing prey with cold breath. As an earth-level high-level extraordinary, the potential of the cold jade snake is also top-notch among high-level extraordinary pets. You should know that ordinary pets can only evolve to 1 level, but it has a difficult evolution route, which can leapfrog the top elite level and evolve into the yellow level transcendent commander, cold jade spirit python. However, with the arrogant temperament of the cold jade snake, it is too difficult to use it as the initial pet contract. But facing such a powerful pet, there are always people who think they are the exception. After all, this may be the closest opportunity for ordinary beast masters to get a transcendent commander level pet in their lifetime. Few people will miss such a rare pet, but the queue at the door is really too large, beyond Chen Wei's imagination. It is estimated that it will take at least half an hour for him to make a contract. Chen Wei sighed slightly as he looked at the long queue around the valley. Then he walked to the end of the line and lined up, and continued to observe the contract situation in the snow valley. The staff of the base shouted slowly, "Next." Chen Wei also followed the flow of people and moved forward in an orderly manner. As expected, the students who tried to make a contract in front of him also failed one after another. Even the students behind Chen Wei began to communicate nervously. "No way, there are dozens of them. But not a single contract has been successful. Although I know the probability is low, this is just a cub. Is it so difficult to contract?" Dozens are still considered a small number. The number of seniors in the previous 6 classes added up to hundreds, but the contract failed and they were all wiped out. Listening to the whispers of the students around him and watching many people fail and leave one after another, although he still maintained his confidence at this time, Chen Wei couldn't help but start to get nervous. He took a deep breath and turned his eyes away, but happened to meet the eyes of the girl who turned around in front of him. The girl was wearing the school uniform of number 1 middle school, had a baby face, black hair shawled and scattered, and a pair of smart and beautiful eyes under a white face, which looked particularly pretty in Chen Wei's eyes. "Hello," Chen Wei smiled awkwardly and greeted subconsciously. The girl pouted first, then laughed. She covered her mouth in embarrassment and said shyly, "Hello, classmate. My name is Yu Zilman, and I am a student in the first class of beast taming at Shushan number 1 middle school. I am Chen Wei, a student in the second class of beast taming at number 2 middle school," Chen Wei said softly. "You have to be mentally prepared to contract the cold jade snake. Are you here to try your luck too?" Yu Zilman said generously with a smile. "Yes, if it's you, the chance of success should be high," Chen Wei said. "Ah, do you know me?" Yu Zilman said in surprise. "I've heard of your name for a long time. I've heard of you in number 2 middle school. You're a beast tamer who has awakened the ice strengthening talent, Blessing of Ice, in Shushan number 1 middle school. It's not that exaggerated. I want to give it a try. I heard that even a high-level beast tamer has a less than 50% chance of successfully contracting a cold jade snake. I want to give it a try. Yes, 2 chances. I'd be resigned if I didn't try. Yeah, without the spiritual talent, it's a bit difficult to rely on the ice talent alone, but it's really so cute. I really want to have a cold jade snake. Yeah, even someone like me who's afraid of snakes likes it. It's just that for beast tamer apprentices like us, it depends more on luck." Although he said it modestly, Chen Wei was very confident in his spiritual power and power of dragon taming, to dare to contract a cold jade snake. While talking, suddenly, the staff said to the girl, "Next, it's my turn. I'll try it first and talk later," Yu Zilman responded quietly. Chen Wei nodded. Yu Zilman took a deep breath, her expression nervous but also a little excited, and then walked slowly towards the snow valley. "Hey, isn't that Yu Zilman? If even she fails in the contract, maybe no one in the session can succeed. If it's her, maybe she can. She is from the Shushan Yu family and has awakened the ice enhanced talent. Yes, she is so beautiful. Maybe she can get the favor of the cold jade snake. Do you think pets are as loyal as you, only like beautiful ones?" Sure enough, people who are good-looking and talented will always be treated preferentially, and even the people queuing around to watch are optimistic. In the valley, Yu Zilman took out a jade box from the space ring, took out an ice magic core from it, and placed it next to a petite cold jade snake cub. The little snake opened its cute eyes, slowly wrapped the magic core with its snake body, and then squinted its eyes comfortably. Yu Zilman was delighted when she saw this, and subconsciously activated her own innate talent, and then began to create a beast control contract through the source star. She poured her mental power and source power into the source star in her mind, and condensed a blue 5-pointed star array around the source star. The blue array continued to absorb source power and mental power in the source star, and then quickly became larger and brighter, and gradually emitted a brilliant light outward, and finally the light shuttled through space and appeared in front of her. The blue light flew in front of the cold jade snake and kept circling and entwining, then gathered into a blue 5-pointed star array, and finally linked to the head of the cold jade snake, which was comfortably absorbing the energy of the magic core. From time to time, the array flashed a blue-white light, indicating that the beast control contract was being concluded. Feeling that the contract process was unexpectedly smooth, Yu Zilman couldn't help but raise the corners of her mouth, and a pair of sweet dimples appeared on her cheeks. Chapter 5 Initial Pet. Yi, the cold jade snake, which had been squinting, suddenly stood up and made a clear and pleasant cry. The next moment, it shook its head, and the lovely ice crystal on its head glowed with blue and white light, directly dispelling the blue talisman array on its forehead. Yeah. The sudden change in the contract situation and the backlash of the failed contract made Yu Zilman's face pale. Although she didn't understand the meaning of the cold jade snake's cry, she could clearly feel the cold jade snake's coldness and resistance. She stood there and smiled helplessly, suppressing her inner loss, and turned away with a calm expression. Seeing Yu Zilman leave, the cold jade snake raised its head, and its eyes seemed to reveal a hint of disdain. and then lazily curled up on the magic core to rest. Ah, even the genius of number 1 middle school failed. I told you, this is not a pet that a Beastmaster apprentice can contract. Forget it, let's choose another pet. I feel the chance of success is slim. I can't waste a chance here. Amid the discussion, many students in the queue gave up and quickly left the team. Seeing someone leave, many people also wavered, and then another 5 or 6 students left. Next, the staff member who had remained calm from beginning to end shouted, as if everything that happened in the morning was a matter of course. After hearing this, Chen Wei clenched his fists, suppressed his nervous heart, and strode into the valley with his head held high. While it is still absorbing the magic core, work harder, you have to succeed. Yu Zilmin, who had just walked out of the valley, tilted her head and encouraged with a smile on her face. Okay, Chen Wei smiled back. Entering the snow-white valley, Chen Wei found that the temperature inside was warmer than outside. While waiting in line for the contract, he used his energy to use identification to observe and understand the 3 jade-like snakes and chose the target of the contract. The slightly petite cold jade snake cub with a magic core wrapped around it has the most outstanding talent and potential among the 3 cold jade snakes. In addition to its own racial skills, it also has a genetic spiritual skill, telekinesis, and its strength has reached the 7th level of a juvenile, telekinesis, a 3rd level spiritual skill that can control moving objects or life forms through thoughts. Chen Wei walked to the vicinity of the staff member and saw the name written on the work card on his chest, Teng Mingjin. After handing him the application card for stamping, Chen Wei pointed to the cold jade snake far away from the group and asked softly, "Can I get closer to it?" "Of course, but you have to be careful. When its front half stands up, you can't get close anymore," Teng Mingjin said indifferently. Obviously, having witnessed a failure of the contract all morning, Tang Mingjin did not think that Chen Wei could succeed in the contract. Chen Wei took a few deep breaths to relieve his nervous and excited emotions, then lightened his steps and slowly approached it while using dragon control power, as planned. With his own strong mental power and dragon power, Chen Wei had full confidence in approaching the cold jade snake. He walked to a place only 1 step away from the cold jade snake, but it never opened its eyes. It ignored Chen Wei's approach and still curled up without any reaction, as if it did not feel threatened. Chen Wei held his breath and squatted down, and put his right hand on the head of the cold jade snake in the surprised eyes of the staff. The feeling in his hand was like touching warm jade, delicate and moist. Then he immediately used dragon power to give it a massage. "How can I touch the cold jade snake? Even I can't get too close to it, otherwise this little guy will give me a cold breath." Tang Mingjin's eyes flashed with a trace of doubt, his expression was surprised, and he thought to himself. The crowd watching around also heard a sound of surprise. Yi, the cold jade snake, which was originally sleeping soundly, felt that its body was offended, and subconsciously turned its head to spit out a cold breath, but suddenly felt a stream of energy coming from the palm of its head, which made it feel very pleasant and comfortable. The jade snake opened its mouth slightly, but did not continue to exhale, perhaps because it was reluctant to leave the warm palm. Looking at the jade snake with a comfortable expression, Chen Wei smiled in his heart. Sure enough, no pet can escape the temptation of dragon power. A minute later, the little guy opened his eyes after enjoying the touch, and looked at Chen Wei with his big eyes curiously. His petite body actually loosened the magic core and gently wrapped around Chen Wei's right hand. Yeah. Looking at the cute little cutie on his wrist, Chen Wei couldn't help but open his palm and watched it crawl step by step to his palm. He gently lifted the jade snake and stroked it, looking into its eyes, and stroked it with his left hand and sent another dragon power. Yeah. As Chen Wei stroked and the dragon power was strengthened, the little guy also showed an appearance of enjoyment, and a faint fragrance emanated from his body. A pair of beautiful and lovely eyes looked straight at Chen Wei, making him look even more cute and charming. Are you willing to make a contract with me? Chen Wei paused slightly while stroking the little guy's hand, feeling the warmth between his fingers. Yet, the cold jade snake looked at Chen Wei in confusion, then proudly tapped his skin up and down with the tip of its tongue, and shook its head in confusion. Is it okay? If you make a contract, you can have such a massage every day. As he spoke, Chen Wei used the dragon power massage with his left hand again. After a year of training in cultivating dragon crystals, Chen Wei's use of dragon power has also increased from 2 times at the beginning to 5 times now. So at the important moment of contracting the pet today, He did not skimp on the consumption of physical strength at all, and used dragon power many times to strengthen it. Yai! A drop of saliva flowed down from the corner of his mouth. The cold jade snake rubbed Chen Wei's palm, and seemed to feel it with its spirit for a while. After a long time, it nodded and called out proudly. Seeing that the cold jade snake cub nodded in agreement, Chen Wei smiled with satisfaction, then closed his eyes and meditated to communicate with the source star in his mind. Through the mind, the blue five-pointed star array flowed out and covered the head of the cold jade snake. Wrapped in the blue light, it was like telepathy, connecting Chen Wei's mind and the cold jade snake. While Chen Wei felt its curiosity and a little hesitation, the cold jade snake also felt Chen Wei's love for it. Not long after, the blue line spread from the forehead of the cold jade snake to its whole body. Chen Wei's mind moved, and it did not resist. It turned directly into blue light, disappeared from the outside world, and entered the star ring in Chen Wei's right hand. The star ring is a low-level standard source device given by the school when each student successfully awakens the talent of beast control. The internal space of the refined star ring can be used to accommodate the host's pet. The one in Chen Wei's hand is only the lowest level star ring, with a very small space. After the contract was completed, a wave of energy surged. Feeling the warm current flowing through his body and source star after the contract was completed, Chen Wei excitedly found that his source star had naturally broken through from the first level to the second level, and his own strength and physique were also greatly enhanced. Congratulations, you are the first student in the Shushan breeding base to successfully contract a cold jade snake in 6 years. This is the cultivation guide for the cold jade snake and some of its food. If you want to buy more food, I suggest you go and register to complete the procedures for the Beast Master first, and then use your mobile phone to order it on the Beast Mall app, Tang Mingjin said enviously, and then handed Chen Wei a bag. Okay, thank you, Chen Wei nodded excitedly, and then took the bag he handed over. I thought that the source star in my mind would need to practice for more than 10 days to break through the bottleneck, but I didn't expect that after the contract was successful, it would be a natural breakthrough. At this moment, there were waves of envious discussions outside the valley. Do you know who this guy is? He was able to successfully contract. Looking at the school uniform, he is from the beast class of number 2 middle school, but except for Wang Hongshuo and Su Hongxin, I have never heard of such a person in number 2 middle school. The initial pet is so strong, I guess we will know his detailed information soon. Chapter 6 Pet Beast Scaling. Second level source star. It seems that the top scorer in Shushan City's college entrance examination this year is already in the bag, and even the top scorer in Hanyang province can compete. Taking the car back to the gate of the base, Chen Wei's face showed anticipation. At this time, the question and curiosity of the cold jade snake came from the source star in his mind, interrupting Chen Wei's fantasy of the future. With a thought, he stretched out his left hand under the talisman array, and the petite cold jade snake fell into his palm. The cold jade snake, which had just come out of the star ring, stretched its body lazily, and then looked at Chen Wei, who summoned it, with satisfaction. The beast control contract can transmit the thoughts and feelings between the beast master and the pet through mental power and source stars. This kind of spiritual communication is more intimate and faster than verbal communication, allowing the beast master to communicate with the pet without obstacles. Feeling the intimacy and satisfaction transmitted from the cold jade snake, looking at its petite body less than 20 centimeters long coiled in the palm of his hand, Chen Wei stroked it happily and used another, dragon power, to strengthen it. Smiling, he watched the jade-white scales on the Hanyu snake's abdomen emit a faint colorful light under the reflection of the sun. Chen Wei suddenly remembered something and said, "We will work hard together in the future. How about giving you a nickname, Yai? It should be a nice name," the Hanyu snake called in a baby voice. Colored scale? Kaling? I think they are all suitable for you. How about Kaling? It's colorful and beautiful, and the voice is as clear and ethereal as a bell. Chen Wei looked into its eyes sincerely and said, "Yi, it's okay." Kaling responded with a hint of tenderness, then gently wrapped her body around Chen Wei's fingers and rubbed his face with her cheek. Okay, it's a little itchy. We will become stronger together in the future." Although Chen Wei said this, his joyful eyes were always on Kaling, and the corners of his mouth also curled up. Name of pet, Kaling. Age of pet, 1 month. Attributes of pet, ice, spirit. Racial level, Earth class advanced extraordinary. Strength level, young level 8. Racial skills, cold breath, ice spikes, ice armor, ice hiding, charm, telekinesis, potential of pet, Earth class top grade. Looking at the attributes that were re-identified, Chen Wei smiled with satisfaction. Keiling, you should go to the star ring to rest for a while and adapt to the space inside. Keiling nodded, and then a green light flashed. And Keiling's figure disappeared in Chen Wei's palm. It seems that after the contract was completed, Keiling also gained a lot of benefits through the dragon power, and the power of the contract feedback. Directly promoted from young level 7 to young level 8, it is estimated that she will soon be able to leave the young stage. 2 hours later, in front of the gate of the Beastmaster Hall of the Shushan breeding base, a huge crowd of people were queuing up to go through the procedures. It seems that I will be back later today. Looking at the busy hall, Chen Wei sighed helplessly and walked directly to the end of the line at window 2 to start queuing. Hey, did you succeed in the contract? Feeling someone patting his shoulder, Chen Wei frowned and turned around to see that it was his deskmate, the fat man Lao Wang. Of course it succeeded. Isn't this a simple thing for me? Seeing you smile so brightly, did you also succeed in the contract? Oh, how can I compare with you? You are playing Versailles now, right? I didn't expect you to hide so deeply, Brother Wei. We agreed that we would work hard together, but you took off secretly. Seeing the colorful spirit summoned by Chen Wei's right hand with the flashing green light, Wang Zhichen was full of envy. You should know that the strength of a junior beastmaster depends on the initial pet he contracts. People who can contract a high-level extraordinary initial pet of the Earth level are already outstanding among their peers in Shushan City. Moreover, the cyan rune array flashing around Chen Wei's star ring indicated that his source star had been cultivated to the 2nd level. At this cultivation speed, Chen Wei might be the top scorer in Shushan City's college entrance examination next year. He was lucky enough to contract a yellow-level high-level extraordinary thornfish at the breeding base after spending money to buy the water of life. Chen Wei not only successfully contracted the cold jade snake, but also broke through to the 2nd level of the source star. This powerful cultivation talent made Lao Wang envious. The thornfish is also very good. It has many evolutionary roots. The Beastmaster Association has recently discovered a new special evolutionary form of it, Chen Wei praised. Chen Wei and Lao Wang queued together and occasionally chatted. Time passed quickly. Unknowingly, an hour passed. Finally, it was his turn. Looking at the smiling boy in front of him, he opened the door and left. The light sign on the left side of gate number 2 also changed from red busy state to green. Chen Wei immediately pushed the door open and went in, and sat directly on the chair as prompted. First, he confirmed his identity through the iris, and then handed Qi Yunmeng his contracted pet information and certification card. After a while, Qi Yunmeng, who had finished checking the information, said in surprise, according to convention, you have to show your pet, Cold Jade Snake, so that I can confirm the contractual relationship. The light blue rune array on the star ring appeared instantly, and the colorful spirit landed steadily on Chen Wei's palm. It tilted its head coquettishly, as if it didn't react. Then the light flashed, and the colorful spirit turned into a green light and disappeared again, returning to the star ring. 2nd level source star, Qi Yunmeng couldn't help swallowing and said in surprise. Chen Wei maintained a decent smile and said confidently, maybe I work harder and have my own little talent, so the training speed is faster. Being able to contract the cold jade snake and practice the source star to the 2nd level when he was a novice shows that his mental power is very high, but his talent is identification. Perhaps there are some benign changes in his talent in terms of spirit, Qi Yunmeng thought thoughtfully as he handed Chen Wei a delicate badge with a star engraved on the metal surface, representing the identity of a junior beastmaster. The Beast Taming Guide can be downloaded and used directly in the mobile phone store through the Beast Tamer identity chip in the badge. What you applied for before was a pet loan contract. This is a contract to buy the cold jade snake. You can take a look at the details. Qi Yunmeng put a batch of information on the counter. Looking carefully at the loan information in front of him, Chen Wei frowned, with some confusion in his expression. Hello, I remember that in the year 1024 of the star calendar, the price of adopting a cold jade snake by contract in Hanyang province was 3 million yuan. If you add the official discount and the martyr subsidy, it is 1.5 million yuan. Why is my current price 2.5 million yuan? Chen Wei was a little puzzled. The pressure of an extra million yuan in funds instantly interrupted his future plans. That was the price 2 years ago. The price in the past 2 years has been 5 million. Since you chose the cold jade snake, I think you also know its evolved form, the Transcendent Commander, Cold Jade Spirit Python, in 1025. Starting from the top-level cross-level evolution route discovered by Dr. Wu from the research department of Hanyang University, the value of the Cold Jade Snake has continued to rise. It's just that no one has successfully signed a contract at the Shushan breeding base in the past 2 years, so the price has not been announced, Qi Yunmeng said lightly. If you still have questions about the price, you can log into the official website of the Beast Taming Association on your mobile phone to view the details. Okay. After signing the contract with a slightly trembling hand, Chen Wei whispered his thanks and turned away with a heavy heart. Chapter 7 Lack of Funds. On the bus back to school, Teacher Zhou was comforting the students who were disappointed because of the failed contracts. Chen Wei heard that there were about 100 students from Shushan No. 2 Middle School who applied to go to the Shushan breeding base. There were 50 people on this bus alone, and only a dozen people succeeded in the contract, which was about the same as the success rate of the previous contract, about 25%. The students who failed in the contract this time are estimated to be transferred to the 3rd or 4th class of the Beast Control class. The environment on the bus was a bit depressing. Even the students who looked at the star ring with joy when they first got on the bus were now mostly sitting quietly, and did not deliberately show off their pets. Perhaps accidents and failures always accompany life. Looking at most of the students in front of him who were frustrated or even crying silently, Chen Wei tapped the armrest of the seat with his right-hand fingers, and he was also very distressed. The originally expected 1.5 million has now become 2.5 million, and the property left by his parents, plus the subsidy from Donghu country, is only 1.5 million. This is also thanks to the fact that the original father is an elite beast control master, otherwise ordinary orphans would not have so much funds. Chen Wei had estimated that he would have 750,000 yuan of funds to cultivate pets after the loan, but now he only has 250,000 yuan. The most important thing is that the amount of the loan has soared from 750,000 yuan in 10 years to 1.250000 yuan in 10 years, which is equivalent to paying more than 10,000 yuan per month. You should know that the monthly salary of an ordinary junior beast master in the market is only about 10,000 yuan. Kailing's food rations are also a considerable expense. Even if it is the simplest, ice source crystals and fish meat will cost several thousand yuan a month. What's more, Chen Wei doesn't want to treat his pet badly. Kailing is his treasure, so the cost will be even higher. Thinking of this, Chen Wei's eyes sank slightly. The plan did not change quickly. The shortage of funds made him a little stressed. It seems that he will have to work hard to make money to support his family from tomorrow. If he continues to concentrate on cultivating pets according to the original plan, he will probably starve to death. Fortunately, he has been promoted to the 3rd year of high school. The courses in the 1st and 2nd years of high school are mainly to teach various knowledge of beast control. In the 3rd year of high school, it is the practice summary of the courses in the 1st and 2nd years of high school. Except for the first 2 days of school, the school will not force senior high school students to go to the classroom for classes. Instead, the school will open the school's beast controlling facilities, allowing students to use the knowledge they have learned to flexibly cultivate their own pets, and even allow students to work during class time to earn money to cultivate pets. It just so happens that Chen Wei can use the time of the senior year to cultivate colorful spirits and earn money to support his family. Back in the apartment with a slightly shabby exterior wall, sitting on the bed, Chen Wei took out the rations given when the contract was signed from his school bag, and couldn't wait to summon a little colorful spirit. Just out of the star ring. The little colorful spirit was a little drowsy when it glared at Chen Wei angrily, with big eyes full of anger, obviously unhappy with Chen Wei's behavior of disturbing its sleep. Chen Wei's mouth corners slightly raised, with a hint of smile in his eyes. You can't always sleep, you still have to eat something. Looking at the gentle but apologetic smile of the Beast Master, Xiao Kailing raised her head, wanting to express her disdain, but found that she was still looking up at Chen Wei, so she shook her head unhappily and lay down to sleep, ignoring her Beast Master directly. Chen Wei felt Xiao Kailing's dissatisfaction and disregard, but he thought its arrogant look was very cute. Shaking his head vigorously, Chen Wei smiled helplessly. This little guy is really, he won't use charm on his own Beast Master. This charm is too foul. We are partners who will grow together in the future. If you listen to me, add one more massage every night. Hearing the massage, Xiao Kailing opened her big eyes, looked back at Chen Wei, and called your a few times. 3 times a day, no more. Chen Wei smiled dumbly, then gently stroked K Ling's head with his left hand and started tonight's Dragon Power massage. After the little K Ling showed a comfortable expression, Chen Wei handed the secondary ice source crystal to its mouth, and watched it heat slowly with a smile. Now Chen Wei feels like he has raised a daughter, and feels that his heart is about to melt. When K Ling has absorbed almost all the energy, Chen Wei puts it on the bed and lets it rest for a while, then gets up and feeds some fish food to the eager little Jin in the fish tank. Turning to look at the little Jin swimming flexibly in the fish tank, K Ling's mouth corners slightly raised, and then looked at Chen Wei and made a crisp sound. Yee, that's not the food I prepared for you. It's your partner. You can't eat it. Absorb some source crystals first, and there will be meat tomorrow, Chen Wei gently reminded. Hearing that her Beastmaster said she couldn't eat it, little K Ling suddenly felt bored and curled up the source crystals and went back to sleep. Chen Wei took out his mobile phone, logged into the Beastmaster mall app and browsed around. He spent 5,000 star coins and placed an order directly, buying 3 kilograms of fresh fish and 1 kilogram of secondary ice source crystals. These ingredients should be enough for little K Ling to eat for the time being. After all, while using Dragon Power to speed up the growth of K Ling, we must also supplement the corresponding nutrition. We can't do it like the last experiment, which almost starved Xiaojin to death, Chen Wei thought to himself. If you want to keep up with the nutrition of K Ling, it will cost a lot. In addition to the loan he still has to bear, he has to think of a way to make money. It's a pity that Mr. Lin of the reservoir refused to let me go fishing, otherwise I could make some extra money to relieve the pressure, Chen Wei thought regretfully. There was no other way, so Chen Wei had to open the recruitment software on his mobile phone, selected a few pet stores with good salaries near Jiangcheng district, submitted his resume, and then began to familiarize himself with and practice the second-level source star. When the source star reaches the second level, you can contract a second pet. If you cultivate the pet to the second level, you can apply to the Beast Tamer Association to become an intermediate Beastmaster. But at present, Chen Wei has no idea of contracting a second pet. Soldiers are more valuable than quantity. At present, the most important thing is to cultivate Xiao Kaling well. The next day, the Senior 3 Beastmaster class started. According to the usual practice, every student had to register again. Entering the Senior 3 Beastmaster 2 classroom, Chen Wei directly scanned the classroom to find a suitable seat, but found that there were many unfamiliar classmates. At this time, the classroom was very noisy. Many students in the back row were communicating excitedly, and some students even summoned their pets. Chen Wei was not used to a noisy environment in the back row, so he found a quiet seat near the front row and sat down. At this time, old Wang, who was arguing with his classmates in the crowd, accidentally saw Chen Wei, and immediately pointed his finger at Chen Wei and said loudly, "I am not bragging to you, the person who contracted the cold jade snake is Chen Wei." Old Wang's voice attracted the attention of everyone in the classroom. Even Chen Wei, who was sitting on a chair with a lot of money in his mind, was awakened by old Wang's shouting. Chen Wei, who felt that he had become the focus of everyone's attention in the classroom, could only look back and smile awkwardly. If there was no second person who successfully contracted the cold jade snake yesterday, then the person you are talking about should be me. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 8 First Battle. Wang Zhichen quickly walked to Chen Wei and said, "Brother Wei, summon your pet to show everyone." "I don't need to lie about this kind of thing." Chen Wei nodded helplessly, and with a flash of green light, Xiao Kaling appeared on Chen Wei's palm. The petite body as white as jade shone with a faint rainbow light, with big watery eyes, 2 crystal clear ice crystals on her head, and a striking charm. The appearance of Xiao Kaling caused many girls in the classroom to exclaim. They seemed to be charmed, their eyes exuded a light of love, and they directly surrounded Chen Wei. Even Su Shijing, a famous beauty in the beast taming class too, put down the lightning marten in her hand, and looked at Xiao Kaling and Chen Wei with surprise. It seemed that she couldn't believe that there was a student in class 2 who could cultivate to the second-level source star and also contracted the cold jade snake. Second-level source star, how did you cultivate it? I haven't made the corners of the source star overflow with blue light in 2 years. What a cute little snake. How can it be so cute? Is this the cold jade snake? If I had known, I would have tried it yesterday. It's so cute. Classmate, can I add my QQ? I want to ask you about the knowledge of taming beasts. Can I touch it? Old Wang, who was just beside Chen Wei, was instantly pushed away by his classmates. Looking at Chen Wei, who was surrounded by girls, Old Wang turned his head and said to Wang Hongshuo with disdain, "Now you believe it, right? I've been told that my buddy is a beast-taming genius, a second-level source star, and the top scorer in Shushan City's college entrance examination next year." Wang Hongshuo said disapprovingly, "It's okay, he just cultivated a little faster. If there is a real pet beast showdown, it's still hard to say who will win or lose. Forget it, I'm too lazy to say more to you." Wang Zhichen, who felt proud of himself, didn't bother to pay attention to Wang Hongshuo. He sat directly on the chair, looking at Chen Wei surrounded by girls with envy. As a brother, he certainly hopes that his brother can live a better life, but now that he sees Chen Wei is so popular with girls, for some reason, he feels a little uncomfortable. Chen Wei doesn't know Wang Zhichen's mood, but Chen Wei, who is surrounded by girls at the moment, is a little uncomfortable. Although Chen Wei's dream is to become a powerful beastmaster and enjoy people's cheers and admiration, he is slightly socially anxious, and this is the first time he has been watched by so many people, and he is a little overwhelmed. On the contrary, Xiao Kailing, who is the focus of the crowd, has no feeling at all, and even looks at the crowd around it with arrogance and disdain. It's quite dangerous. It refuses anyone to contact it except me, and it may give you a cold breath. Chen Wei quickly stopped a female classmate who tried to get started. What a pity, the girls around Chen Wei suddenly made a lost voice. "Students, please go back to your seats and sit down." The stern voice of the head teacher, Mr. Zhou, suddenly came from the podium. After a while, the students who were just watching the excitement found their own seats and sat down. "I understand your excitement about contracting a pet, and the teacher is also your age, but the class should have a classroom atmosphere. It's not right to make a lot of noise. In the 3rd year of high school, there is no teaching, only practice. Students who want to practice with me can come to me to sign up. As for students who have other plans, they also have to come to me to sign a personal letter of intent." "Do you understand?" "I understand," the classmates responded. After Chen Wei and Wang Zhichen signed the letter of intent, they planned to go to the Beastmaster Association to practice the skills of pets while it was still early. A slender arm suddenly blocked Chen Wei. Wang Hongshuo and his younger brother were blocking the door of the class with their heads held high. Chen Wei looked at him sideways, a little surprised. "I have been curious about the cold jade snake for a long time. Are you interested in fighting with my Fian Eagle? Use these 2 level 1 healing potions produced by the Nandao Chamber of Commerce as a bet. Whether you win or lose the battle, the potion is yours." It must be said that Wang Hongshuo, who was holding the healing potion in his hand, looked quite handsome with full confidence, but it was a pity that he still lacked that little flavor compared to him. "Sure, I want to have a pet battle too." Seeing Wang Hongshuo's confidence, Chen Wei also became interested in the battle, which had nothing to do with the 2 potions worth 5,000 star coins. The crowd blocking the door attracted the attention of many students in the classroom. When they heard that there was a pet battle, they all expressed their desire to watch the pet battle. Teacher Zhou, who wanted to scold Wang Hongshuo for blocking the door, was even more displeased when he heard about the pet battle. He said sternly, "Wang Hongshuo, were you absent from class before? Don't you know that the newly contracted pet cubs are not suitable for pet battles? It's just a simple pet battle, and there are healing potions as a guarantee. If you are worried, you can be our referee," Wang Hongshuo replied. "Maybe it would be better to teach them a lesson." Teacher Zhou frowned and said seriously, "Then let's go to the battlefield together. There is a school doctor station near the battlefield. Remember to stop when you are done." Not long after, Chen Wei and Wang Hongshuo arrived at the school's number 3 battlefield. The first thing that caught Chen Wei's eyes was the spacious and majestic square battlefield. It is said that protective energy glass can be raised around the battlefield. This energy glass can effectively isolate energy and prevent the aftermath of the pet beast battle from affecting the audience. Of course, the energy consumption of raising the protective shield is not cheap, and the school will only raise it when holding a competition. It is not used in a chicken fight between Chen Wei and his classmates. Teacher Zhou looked at the students who were full of expectations around him, strode to the center of the battlefield, and said loudly, "You two should choose your side first. Because it is a pet beast confrontation, you are not allowed to attack the beast master or the pet beast's vital points. You can summon your pet beast to prepare in advance." Chen Wei and Wang Hongshuo nodded and summoned their own pet beasts. The colorful spirits shining with colorful light under the thin sunlight immediately caused cheers and arguments from many onlookers. Which one do you think has a better chance of winning, the flying cloud eagle or the cold jade snake? I think it's the flying cloud eagle. It has a huge advantage in the early stage of flying. In addition to the restrained, I feel that the cold jade snake can only take the beating and can't fight back. Chen Wei will definitely win. The first level is the first level of heaven. The gap between the earth level and the yellow level is not small. Wang Zhichen responded immediately after hearing this. Looking at the flying cloud eagle circling above Wang Hongshuo, Chen Wei used identify, and its information suddenly emerged in his mind. Name of pet, flying cloud eagle. Pet attribute, wind, racial level, yellow level, high level, extraordinary, strength level, juvenile level 6, racial skills, wind pecking, wind blade, swift wind claw, high speed flight, introduction, a small eagle with wide black-brown feathers and lanceolate-like feathers on its head and neck. It is very fast and is good at using swift wind claws to catch prey. Yi, Kayling looked at the flying cloud eagle in the sky. She was not afraid at all, but only curious. It was the first time she saw a pet flying in the air. "Come on, this is our first battle," Chen Wei encouraged Kayling. Then Chen Wei quickly used his mind to remind Kayling through the contract, "It's very fast, be careful to avoid the opponent's long-range attacks. If the opponent gets close, you can control it with telekinesis." At the same time, opposite Chen Wei, Wang Hongshuo, with his arms crossed, seemed to have won, thinking confidently, "The Air Force fights the infantry. Long arms fight short arms. I don't know how to lose with this advantage. Both sides get ready. The battle begins." Teacher Joe blew the whistle. Beep. Chapter 9, First Battle Victory. Flying Cloud Eagle, Wind Blade, Wang Hongshuo ordered. The wind energy around the wings of the Flying Cloud Eagle in the air gradually entangled to form two wind blades. Then it aimed at the location of Kayling with its sharp eyes, and then suddenly dropped a distance. Whoosh! The whistling wind blades were very fast, and the two sharp wind blades quickly attacked the cold jade snake. "Kayling, get out of the way." Before the battle, the armor was stacked first. When the flying cloud eagle rose, the little Kayling had directly used the ice armor skill. The snow-white ice shield was shining around its petite body. After hearing Chen Wei's command, it pressed down and immediately ejected its body, instantly moving away from the place where it was originally coiled. Swish! The wind blade was very fast, but the little Kayling's reaction speed was even faster. The wind blade missed and slashed the ground of the battlefield. The battlefield was full of rubble and dust, and the wind blade left two conspicuous scratches on the ground. Use telekinesis to pull it down. Taking advantage of the moment when the Flying Eagle landed to attack, Chen Wei seized the opportunity and immediately ordered with his mind. The lovely ice crystal on the head of the little Kayling instantly burst into blue and white light, and a telekinesis wrapped the Flying Eagle tightly. The Flying Eagle, which had just finished attacking, was about to rise and distance itself when it felt a huge resistance from its wings, causing it to tremble all over, and then immediately struggled with all its might. The powerful binding force restricted the Flying Eagle's movements, and the pulling between the power of Kayling and the Flying Eagle made it unable to control its flight, and its gray-black body began to fall rapidly from the air. This scene caught Wang Hongshuo off guard, and his confident face froze. Is this a third-level skill telekinesis? Before the battle, he had specially checked the information of the Hanyu snake, thinking that only the charm of the Hanyu snake was a threat to the Flying Eagle. Unexpectedly, this Hanyu snake actually had telekinesis. Fly at high speed to break free, Wang Hongshuo said in a panic without having time to think about it, and even forgot that he could use his mind to transmit commands. Li, before being pulled to the ground, the Flying Eagle began to be surrounded by micro-air currents, but in the end, it failed to use its skills successfully in the struggle, and could not break free from the control of Xiao Kailing's telekinesis, and was directly pulled to the ground by Xiao Kailing. Freeze it with cold breath. At Chen Wei's command, Xiao Kailing's ice condensed, and a cold blue air current blew from her mouth, blowing on the Flying Eagle's body, directly freezing its right wing completely. Bang bang! This was the sound of the Flying Eagle falling and tumbling to the ground after being attacked by the cold breath and losing its ability to fly. The Feian Eagle has lost its ability to fight, and the winner is Chen Wei. Teacher Zhou looked at Chen Wei approvingly, and then announced, "It's over so soon." The students watching the game spoke with surprise. It was over after just over a round, which was too fast. At first, pet cubs only know innate skills, so it's normal for them to decide the winner after a few moves. Yeah, for example, my coyote only knows one move. Rock, claw and bite. Forget about the special level pets. It seems that there are only 4 people in our class who can contract high-level extraordinary pets, namely Su Shijing, Chen Wei, Wang Hongxiu and Wang Zichen. I really want to have a pet showdown with them. It should be, but Su Shijing's Lightning Marten and Wang Zichen's Thornfish are both yellow-level extraordinary pets like the Feian Eagle. What's wrong with medium-level specialness? There are examples of medium-level special pets defeating high-level extraordinary pets in our Shushan city. This is only the first day. Once I have cultivated the rock sparrow, it is not impossible for me to fight against high-level extraordinary pets of this same level. You haven't even awakened your innate talent. Where do you get the confidence from? The students watching argued and teased, and the topic of discussion gradually began to deviate. Chen Wei strode forward, excitedly holding little K Ling in his arms, and then began to gently massage its head, secretly using a dragon power to reward K Ling. Amazing, this is a reward for you, Chen Wei conveyed with his mind. Feeling a slight current flowing where Chen Wei's warm palm touched, little K Ling made a crisp cry in comfort, and her petite body seemed to become more slender. Chen Wei looked at the changes in little K Ling with joy, and said in surprise, awakened and grown, fighting can really quickly improve the growth of pets. Little K Ling was promoted to the 8th level of juveniles after the contract was completed yesterday, and today she was promoted to the 9th level of juveniles. She is worthy of the potential of the best Earth level. Of course, the promotion speed of little K Ling is so fast that it is inseparable from Chen Wei's hard work and cultivation, and his innate talent is also indispensable. Just as Chen Wei and K Ling were interacting intimately, Wang Hongxiu on the other side put the Feian Eagle back into the star ring with a lost expression. He had not even released his innate talent and he had already lost, and he was a little bit unable to accept it for a while. What are you doing? Why don't you go to the school clinic to treat your pet? Are you waiting for sequelae? The head teacher loudly scolded Wang Hongxiu, who was standing there, and then looked at the students watching and taught him a lesson. The pet cubs must be treated in time after the battle, so as not to affect the pet's future potential. However, when the pet rose from the juvenile stage to the first stage, this type of frostbite can be put into the star ring, and then it can be quickly healed by consuming mental power through the source star. Chen Wei watched Wang Hongxiu feed the Feian Eagle with a healing potion as if he had just woken up from a dream, and couldn't help but smile. He had asked Xiao Kailing to be merciful. Feian Eagle only had its right wing frozen by the cold breath. This kind of minor injury can be cured quickly by going to the school clinic. I didn't expect Wang Hongxiu to be so willing to feed it with a healing potion directly. Is this the generosity of the rich? It's not like he has to spend every penny. The winner has been decided, and Wang Zichen trotted to Chen Wei. Very impressive. If my thornfish could only stay in the water, I would also like to have a pet battle with you. Forget it. There are plenty of opportunities. Let's wait until our pets reach the first level before we compete. After Chen Wei took back the spirited little K Ling in his arms, he stood up, patted Wang Zichen on the shoulder and said, instead of fighting, let's hurry up and go to the Beastmaster Association to practice our skills, otherwise there will be no place left. The breeze blew gently, bringing a hint of coolness. Chen Wei and Wang Zichen had not walked a few steps when they were stopped by Wang Hongxiu not far away. I am willing to accept the loss. You are very strong, but I will beat you next time. Wang Hongxiu, who came to his senses, put away his lost mood, walked to Chen Wei, took out 2 healing potions, and left without waiting for Chen Wei to respond. The idea is beautiful, but the reality is cruel. Looking at Wang Hongxiu's lonely figure, Chen Wei thought silently. Chapter 10 Beast Tamer Association. The Shushan City Beast Tamer Association building is located in the center of Jiangcheng District, surrounded by a bustling area. As a landmark building in Shushan City, the Beast Tamer building is 15 stories high and is also the tallest building in Jiangcheng District. It covers a vast area and is magnificent. Why don't we find a primary ice and snow training ground with a lake? Not only can we save some money, but we can also practice skills together. In the hall of the Beast Tamer Association, Wang Zhichen turned around and said to Chen Wei. Sure, I haven't had the chance to show you my thornfish until now. How about you help me identify the potential of my pet later? No problem, let's go to the front desks to rent a training ground first, Chen Wei happily responded. Hearing this, Wang Zhichen walked quickly to the front desk of the Beast Tamer Hall. After a while, he registered the venue rental procedures. Under the guidance of the front desk lady, the two soon came to an artificial ice and snow area with a lake. This ice and snow training ground covers a large area and can accommodate a large number of beastmasters. At this moment, not far from Chen Wei, two animal masters were chasing and playing with their pets, snow cheetahs, in the snow. Brother Wei, meet me, this is my partner, Xiao He. As soon as the voice fell, Lao Wang moved his right hand forward, and the star ring between his fingers flashed blue light. A black thornfish covered with white bone spurs appeared in the blue rune array in front of him. Plop! This was the sound of the thornfish breaking the ice on the surface of the lake. As soon as it fell into the cold lake water, the thornfish swam around excitedly, and its strong and powerful body jumped up from time to time in the lake, splashing waves with crystal clear broken ice. Xiao He? Your naming is too casual, Chen Wei teased Lao Wang casually, frowned slightly, looked at the active thornfish in the lake, then turned to look at Wang Zhichen and said, let it be quiet, otherwise it will be difficult to observe. Xiao He is a simple and easy to remember name. Wait a moment, it will probably take some time for Xiao He to calm down. Lao Wang raised his right hand and scratched his head helplessly. Xiao He didn't obey his orders very much after just one day of the contract. For example, now, looking at the thornfish that didn't obey his orders, he smiled a little embarrassedly. The cold wind brought a little snow, which also brought a bit of chill. Chen Wei didn't say much, squatted down, and then silently watched the excited thornfish gradually calm down through the falling snow, and used identification to carefully observe it. Pet name, thornfish, pet attributes, water, poison, racial level, yellow rank high level transcendent, racial skills, water jet, thorn poison arrow, hiding, pet potential, yellow rank top grade, introduction, a superb fish that lives in waters. It has a dark complexion and is covered with white thorns. It is a medium-sized fish that is good at hiding and hunting food with poison arrows. It has a relatively docile personality and is less aggressive. Because the thorns on its body contain venom, it is not recommended as an initial pet. Looking at its size and the luster of the thorns on its body, it is obvious that its physical condition is very good. It should be a high-level superb pet of the yellow rank top grade, with excellent potential. Chen Wei stood up and said with a smile on his face, stroking the quiet thornfish's head with his right hand. Seeing that it was very docile and did not resist, and the dull fish eyes were still full of curiosity. Among the thornfish in the glacier, Xiao He is the one that I like the most. It seems that I have a good eye. Although Xiao He has improved his potential by drinking the water of life, he was at least a mid-grade yellow grade before. Hearing this, the excited old Wang immediately bent his knees and squatted, and excitedly touched Xiao He with his hand. Ignoring old Wang's conceit, Chen Wei turned around and summoned Xiao Keiling, then hugged it in his arms and said softly, Keiling, we are going to start training today. Yi yang. What is training? Keiling replied lazily. Seeing this, Chen Wei's expression was serious. Training is to practice skills. Today, we will train for 2 hours. If the effect is good, I will help you strengthen it. How about it? Yi yang. Simple, no problem. Hearing this, Xiao Keiling opened her cute big eyes, looked at Chen Wei seriously, and then happily wrapped her body around Chen Wei's arm and cried crisply. Yet, I said it won't change. Get off my hand first, and let's practice the first level skill, cold breath. Look at me. Little Keiling opened her mouth and spit out 3 cold blue air currents from her mouth, hitting the snow-covered rock not far from the snow. When the blue air current disappeared, the whole rock was frozen by ice. Seeing that little Keiling skillfully released a cold breath skill many times in a short period of time, Chen Wei couldn't help but smile a little more, and felt a little emotional in his heart. Is this the potential of the best of the Earth level? 1 month after birth, she can accurately hit the target with 3 consecutive cold breaths. In terms of proficiency, Keiling's cold breath has reached the proficient level, and after repeated practice, she may even reach the mastery level. Cold breath can be said to be the core skill of the cold jade snake. The advantage of this skill is that the breath speed is extremely fast and the casting distance is extremely short. It can instantly freeze the opponent in battle and make it lose the power to resist, but the disadvantage is that as a restricted skill, the skill itself does not cause high damage. Ah, Xiao Hei, a sudden cry of pain interrupted Chen Wei's thinking. He frowned and looked back. Wang Zhichen's right finger was bleeding red, obviously injured by the thornfish. What's going on? Stop the bleeding first. Fortunately, the teeth of the thornfish don't carry toxins, otherwise you would have to go to the hospital now. Chen Wei looked at the thornfish standing in the water with a serious face. Seeing that it didn't do anything radical, he quickly took out a band-aid from his backpack. He tore open the package, walked to Wang Zhichen and directly applied the band-aid to the wound on Lao Wang's finger with his hand. Ah, what happened? Kailing also stopped practicing cold breath and looked at the thornfish with puzzled eyes. I accidentally touched Xiao Hei's mouth just now, and I didn't expect to be bitten, Lao Wang said helplessly. I see, I thought your beast control contract was backfired. Chen Wei's frown suddenly relaxed, and his tone became much more relaxed. Although there are very few cases of contract backlash, once it occurs, it will cause great damage to the source star of the Beastmaster. At the least, the source star will be downgraded, and at the worst, the source star will collapse violently, causing the Beastmaster to die on the spot. Seeing that Lao Wang was not seriously injured, Chen Wei jokingly reminded him, be careful, the thorns of the thornfish are poisonous. I don't want to see your news on TV. Although the pet beast cannot actively attack the Beastmaster under the restrictions of the Beastmaster contract, some weapons grown by the pet beast itself will also pose a threat to its own Beastmaster, such as fangs, stings, etc. Wang Zhichen rolled his eyes at Chen Wei unhappily when he heard this. How could he make such a bad friend? If you don't know how to talk, don't talk. Seeing Lao Wang's depressed look, Chen Wei continued to say, how do you feel now? The wound is not big, it will probably heal soon. But I have to be careful when I touch it in the future. Lao Wang glanced at the thornfish in the water. Chapter 11 Skill Training. Next, Lao Wang chose to continue practicing skills with Xiao Hei in the lake, while Chen Wei and Kailing walked to the pure white snow to start training. In just 1 hour, Xiao Kailing's progress in practicing the cold breath skill was beyond Chen Wei's imagination. If this progress rate is maintained, it is estimated that it will not take long for Xiao Kailing to master the cold breath skill to the proficient level. He held Xiao Kailing, who was tired and panting from practicing the cold breath skill, in his arms and touched its head with satisfaction. Chen Wei suddenly thought of the bond battle that has been popular on the internet in Donghu country recently. It is said that if the Beastmaster loves the pet on the premise of respecting and understanding the pet, he will also gain the love of the pet, thus establishing a bond between the Beastmaster and the pet. The pet's combat power can be soared through the coordination of the bond and the source star. This is the bond coordination battle. But mastering the bond coordination is not a simple matter. Although this method of fighting does not require strength, those who can master the bond coordination battle in Donghu are basically Beastmasters above the king level, and there are only a handful of Beastmasters who can master the bond coordination battle below the master level. Chen Wei shook his head again, thinking that he was thinking too far ahead. He had to eat one bite at a time. The goal of bond coordination battle could not be forced. It would be good to gradually establish a bond with Xiao Kailing in life training. The current primary goal is to let Xiao Kailing get out of the larval stage and advance to the first level, so that he can use the dragon crystal he has prepared for a long time to let Xiao Kailing evolve. After all, Chen Wei spends a lot of time on the strengthening homework of Dragon Crystal every night after completing his training, rain or shine. He has deep expectations for the intermediate Dragon Crystal made of talent, and also looks forward to how brilliant sparks can bloom between the gifted Xiao Kailing and the Dragon Crystal. Chen Wei came back to his senses from his thoughts, squatted down and put the little Kailing, whose power had recovered, on the snow. He said excitedly, it's almost time to rest. Next, let's practice the Ice Spike skill. Simple, the Ice Spike attack skill is basically known by all Ice-type pets. It is a universal skill. Chen Wei wanted to see how proficient Kailing was in Ice Spikes. Swish, 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 I saw blue ice spikes rising from the ground around Kailing, turning into blue light and flying forward. The snowy open space in front of me was suddenly covered with snowflakes, leaving small holes all over the ground. Seeing the destructive power caused by Kailing's first-level skill, Ice Spike, Chen Wei nodded with satisfaction, and then said, you are very proficient in using telekinesis and ice armor skills in the morning battle, so there is no need to test them. K-Ling, use Ice Hide this time. When K-Ling heard Chen Wei's order, a light blue halo immediately lit up on her crystal clear body surface, and then her body quickly merged with a pure white snow, and her body disappeared at a speed visible to the naked eye. Chen Wei stepped forward and observed carefully in the snow, but he couldn't find K-Ling's figure. Ice Hide is indeed a second-level skill, which can use snow or ice as a cover to hide traces. If Chen Wei could not still vaguely feel the existence of K-Ling from the contract, he really couldn't find K-Ling's approximate location. Come out, K-Ling. Hearing his voice, K-Ling's figure appeared not far away. Chen Wei sighed, and his expression gradually became serious. With such an excellent pet, he can skillfully release his innate skills without training. Although this is a bit versailles, this unexpected situation has occurred, and Chen Wei really can't think of what skills to train K-Ling for a while. Logically speaking, most first-level pets can only master the first-level skills to the proficient level, and only a very few pets can reach the proficient level, not to mention that K-Ling is only in its infancy. Seeing Chen Wei sigh, the little K-Ling looked at Chen Wei with dissatisfaction and cried crisply. "Yai, didn't meet the requirements, no, you are so great." Seeing that K-Ling was a little dissatisfied, Chen Wei smiled a little more, and then walked over and lifted it up high. "Yeah, Greek letter Omega?" Of course. K-Ling in the air turned her head arrogantly, and her eyes naturally avoided Chen Wei's eager gaze. "Although it's amazing, you still have to keep working hard." Chen Wei rubbed his face on K-Ling's warm body, and the touch was like cotton with a hint of warmth. "Keep practicing the cold breath, and try to master it to the mastery level in the next week, eh?" K-Ling responded softly. K-Ling stood in the open space and continued to spit out cold blue icy airflow, and several large solidified ice blocks appeared on the wide snow. The release speed is already very fast. Now there is no need to deliberately pursue the release speed. K-Ling, you can try to concentrate your strength to spit out the cold breath by extending the casting time. Hearing Chen Wei's order, K-Ling began to work hard to charge the cold breath, and a bright cold blue light began to shine in her mouth. The surrounding ice source energy also continuously gathered into K-Ling's mouth. Boom! K-Ling spit out the cold breath that had been charged for a long time and absorbed a large amount of ice source energy, and set off a terrifying explosion of ice flow in the entire snow area in front. The airflow set off countless gorgeous ice fragments scattered all over the snow. Chen Wei quickly used his hands to block some of the ice fragments that were coming towards him. K-Ling's body was also torn by the recoil of the cold breath, leaving an obvious mark on the snow. After the airflow disappeared, Chen Wei looked through the falling snow and met K-Ling's eyes, whose body was firmly entrenched in the snow. "What an exaggerated damage," Chen Wei exclaimed, wanting to praise K-Ling a few more words. Ring, ring, ring. Chen Wei suddenly felt a vibration in his pocket, which was the vibration of the mobile phone. After praising K-Ling with his mind and letting it pause training, Chen Wei took out his mobile phone directly from his body. He found that it was a call from an unfamiliar number. After clicking the connection, he immediately asked, "Hello, who are you?" "Hello, is this Chen Wei, Mr. Chen? I am the person in charge of the pet store of the Puppet Mall." A capable female voice came from the other end of the phone. "Yes, that's me," Chen Wei replied capably. "It's like this. I received your resume and I think you're a good fit. Do you have time to come for an interview in the next 2 days?" Chen Wei squatted down and touched the curious K-Ling with his finger, and said lightly, "Are the requirements I proposed acceptable to you?" "Of course, but I need to conduct an on-site assessment test. Do you have time this afternoon?" "Sure." After a general understanding and communication on the phone, Chen Wei ended the conversation and put his phone in his pocket. Chen Wei has already made an appointment for an interview at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Whether the recent financial pressure can be alleviated depends on his performance in the afternoon. Chapter 12 Puppet Mall. The training effect is very good. Let's stop here today. I have an interview in the afternoon. After saying that, Chen Wei picked up the tired K-Ling, took out the secondary ice source crystal from his pocket and handed it to its mouth to feed it. After feeding K-Ling, Chen Wei kept massaging K-Ling's body with his right hand, relieving its fatigue, and at the same time, he used the Dragon Force to reward K-Ling for completing the training. K-Ling enjoyed the comfort of the Dragon Force washing its body with a face full of comfort. Its body naturally glowed, and its size gradually grew in the light. Seeing this, Chen Wei stopped in surprise, and watched with joy as K Ling's strength was promoted from the 9th level of the young student to the 10th level of the young student. The promotion speed of the little K Ling really exceeded Chen Wei's imagination. It has been promoted to 2 levels in a row in the morning. The effect of the Dragon Force is too powerful. But why does the Dragon Force only increase the size of Xiaojin, but not the strength? Until now, Xiaojin's strength has remained at the 2nd level of the young student. Chen Wei's eyes were full of doubts. It seems that Xiaojin's Dragon Power Enhancement experiment data is not accurate enough. Judging from K Ling's situation, using Dragon Power multiple times within 2 days plus training and fighting can quickly improve the strength level during the larval stage. After the light of the changes in K Ling and his arms faded, Chen Wei quickly used a ballpoint pen to record today's Dragon Power experiment and skill training in his notebook. Yai, K Ling held her head high, excitedly active in Chen Wei's arms, and her petite tail was also shaking, which was very cute. Holding the restless K Ling after the promotion, Chen Wei also showed a hearty smile on his face. With the remarkable training results of Xiao K Ling this morning, Chen Wei would not have been willing to leave this ice and snow training venue if he hadn't had an interview in the afternoon. Old Wang, it's noon. Do you want to have a meal first? I'll treat you. After suppressing the joy of the improvement in strength, Chen Wei appeased K Ling and put it into the star ring. Then he walked to the edge of the lake and said to Wang Zichan, "Okay, I'm hungry too." Hearing Chen Wei's offer to treat him to a meal, old Wang immediately became energetic. After lunch, Chen Wei suddenly remembered that he had not yet prepared for the interview, so he said, "Old Wang, I have an interview this afternoon, so I'll leave first. If you have anything, please contact me on QQ, okay? I wish you a successful interview," Old Wang encouraged without even turning his head. Ragdoll Mall is a well-known comprehensive shopping mall in Shushan City, and the goods in the mall are all-encompassing. Whether it is pet cubs or beast resources, they have everything. The most famous pet in the mall is the titanium crystal puppet cat. Ragdoll Mall even holds a small pet battle competition in Jiangcheng District every 2 years to promote their special pet titanium crystal puppet cat, referred to as the Ragdoll Cup. At 1440, Chen Wei took the bus to the Jiangcheng District Shopping Center. The Ragdoll Mall is located in this bustling commercial building complex. Standing in front of the luxurious building, Chen Wei looked at the titanium crystal plaque with Ragdoll Mall written in gold-plated fonts above the gate. As expected of a large enterprise, they are willing to use titanium crystal to make a plaque. They are really rich. The puppet mall is in building A1, and the interview location is building A2. After Chen Wei looked at it again to confirm the location of the interview location, he went directly to building A2 next to the puppet mall. After registering his information with the smiling receptionist in the lobby on the 1st floor, Chen Wei walked straight to the elevator according to the guidance of the receptionist, ready to go to the 9th floor for an interview. When he pressed the up button, the elevator arrived at the 1st floor. When the elevator door was slowly opening, a white shadow suddenly rushed out of the elevator. "Shirley, don't run," a crisp and soft girl's voice came from the elevator. Before he had time to think about it, seeing the white shadow coming, Chen Wei subconsciously reached out and grabbed it. He felt that the thing in his hand was like a soft puppet, furry and a little warm. Huh? A low roar seemed to warn something. Chen Wei looked carefully with his eyes. What he was holding in his hand was a pure white cat covered with fluffy hair and soft body. It also wore a necklace that flashed from time to time around its neck. At this time, the cat's eyes slightly raised, and its bright blue eyes seemed to look at him with some resentment. "Wow, a titanium crystal puppet," Chen Wei exclaimed in his heart. He really liked this kind of gentle and cute pet. A girl wearing a light yellow hat, a light green dress, and black hair curled up naturally walked quickly from the elevator to Chen Wei's side. Sorry, this is my pet, can you give it to me?" The girl, who was dressed in fresh and fashionable clothes, blushed at this time, and said to Chen Wei embarrassedly, "Thank you for helping me catch Shirley." After the girl shyly took the cat from his hand, she held the cat and straightened her chest and bowed slightly to him to thank him. "It's just a small favor, I have something else to do, so I'll leave first." Seeing that the elevator door was about to close, the puppet cat in his hand was also taken away by its owner by the neck. Chen Wei no longer had the interest to continue the conversation, and hurriedly strode forward and pressed the upstairs button. Although he was full of love for the titanium crystal puppet, he loved it, but if he delayed any more time, he might be late for the interview today. Looking at Chen Wei's back, The girl pointed at the cat's head with her finger in shame and anger, and blamed, "Surely, it's all your fault. Why are you in such a hurry? The crystal core will not disappear." Meow. Shirley seemed to know that she had made a mistake and acted coquettishly. "Alice, you are always like this. I really can't do anything about you." After rubbing Shirley hard a few times, Liu Xiaotong lowered her head and sighed. "Huh?" Liu Xiaotong looked up and saw that the elevator stayed on the 9th floor for a long time. She came back to her senses with some surprise. Could the handsome guy just now come to the mall for an interview? Liu Xiaotong shook her head vigorously. "Forget it. If we are lucky enough to meet, I will thank him formally next time." Then she hugged Shirley and left the building in a hurry. Obviously, she had something urgent to deal with. Ling. "We are on the 9th floor." Chen Wei listened to the cold prompt sound and walked out of the elevator door. The sound of hurried footsteps rang out on the clean and bright floor. In front of him was a spacious corridor with no one. Chen Wei glanced at his phone and saw that there were still 5 minutes before the interview. He exhaled, calmed his cramped mood, looked up and followed the instructions on the wall of the corridor to a luxurious office. Chen Wei rang the doorbell, and a young lady who looked particularly pure in a silky flowered shirt and a white skirt came towards him. The young lady had a professional smile on her cheek and stretched out her hand to signal, "You are Mr. Chen who is here to interview the mall appraiser. I have been waiting for a long time. Please come this way." Under her leadership, Chen Wei came to an empty reception room. "Please wait a moment, Mr. Liu will be here soon." "Okay." After a polite response, Chen Wei sat on the chair and looked at the decoration in the office curiously. There was a crisp sound of pushing the door from the gorgeous door behind him, and a graceful figure sat down neatly under Chen Wei's gaze. Chapter 13 Titanium Crystal Doll. At this time, this intellectual and beautiful lady was leaning back in a chair. She looked less than 30 years old. Her expression was serious and sharp, and her manners were full of mature feminine temperament. The black short shawl jacket perfectly set off her figure. Her dark hair was slightly curled and draped over her shoulders. Her clear pupils, slender eyebrows, and fair and flawless skin looked particularly confident and dazzling in Chen Wei's eyes. "Hello, I am Liu Menging, the person in charge of pets in the puppet mall. We have contacted each other on the phone before." Liu Menging sat dignifiedly, with a calm look and a bit of coldness and competence on her face. "Hello," Chen Wei responded politely. The following interview went more smoothly than Chen Wei expected. No matter what questions Liu Menging asked, he could answer them fluently. His initial nervousness gradually disappeared during the interview conversation, and he became more and more confident and calm. At this time, Chen Wei was looking at the interviewer in front of him, who is always elegant and capable, with an admiring eye. "Very good. Is there anything else you need to know?" Liu Menging looked quite satisfied and asked with a smile. "No more." Chen Wei already knew the details of the work and the treatment. Liu Menging smiled and said lightly, "Although you have the talent for identification and the qualification certificate of a primary pet appraiser, the on-site test is still inevitable. After all, you have many requirements. As long as you can pass the pet appraisal assessment, I can meet the requirements of 1 day a week and a monthly salary of more than 10,000 star coins. If you have excellent ability, let alone salary, even the resources of the pets are not a problem." "Okay, I can participate in the assessment at any time." Chen Wei smiled confidently. Identification is a very simple thing for him. Liu Menging said nothing more, and the dazzling and exquisite star ring in her hand flashed a barely visible red light. A red rune array appeared on the simple and elegant square table in an instant. A red light flashed, and a cat with a wedge-shaped head and V-shaped markings on its face suddenly appeared on the table. Its dark eyelids covered its blue eyes, its limbs were a bit thick, and it wore a pink bow necklace around its neck. Under the fluffy fur, the belly was rising and falling slightly, and it smacked its lips from time to time, as if it was still sleeping in a sweet dream. "This is the titanium crystal puppet I just contracted. You just need to be able to tell its race, level, potential and skills within half an hour. The more accurate your identification results are, the higher the score will be. 70 points or a pass." Liu Menging stretched out her hand to indicate to Chen Wei that the identification test had begun. It seems that this is not an ordinary titanium crystal puppet, otherwise a medium-level special pet would not have any level potential. Looking at the sleeping cat in front of him, Chen Wei thought to himself. Titanium crystal puppets are the special pets of Shushan City. Chen Wei naturally knows about this kind of pet. He even considered titanium crystal puppets as his initial pet. But Chen Wei gave up the idea after knowing its price. Although the race level of the titanium crystal puppet is only medium level special, its value is not low, up to 5 million star coins, which is equivalent to the price of a high-level extraordinary pet of the heavenly rank. This price makes Chen Wei stay away. What's more, neither the Beast Tamer House nor the Shushan breeding base provides a contract path for the titanium crystal doll. This kind of pet can only be purchased at a high price in the doll mall. As for why the medium-level special titanium crystal doll is so valuable? That's because the titanium crystal doll is a famous rare pet in Shushan City. Its cute and elegant appearance and gentle and quiet personality are highly sought after and favored by people. This kind of pet that is clingy and has a particularly good temper can be raised at home without even a contract. It has great potential and contains many evolutionary paths, such as the Fire Crystal Doll, Thunder Crystal Doll and Gemstone Doll in other evolutionary forms. After multiple evolutions, the Fire Crystal Doll can even evolve into a super pet with a race level of Brilliant King, Sparkling Sun Doll. Of course, the resources required for its multiple evolutions are also a huge amount. The only disadvantage of the titanium crystal doll is that it is easily affected by the source power attribute and the natural treasures and evolves into puppets of different forms, especially when it uses the titanium crystal form skills. Therefore, there is a saying in Shushan City, wearing expensive clothes and jewels does not mean luxury. The real luxury is to own a titanium crystal doll with a meteorite necklace. As the name suggests, the most important thing about a meteorite necklace is the meteorite fragment on the necklace. Meteorites are mineral resources that have not been discovered on the blue planet yet. They are said to be rare meteorites that fell from outer space. They can keep pets in their own form and are a level 4 rare resource that can prevent pets from evolving. In Shushan City, and even in Hanyang Province, titanium crystal dolls with meteorite necklaces are synonymous with luxury. The meteorite necklace alone is a number that Chen Wei dare not imagine. The girl that Chen Wei just met on the stairs is obviously a hidden lady. Her behavior is like carrying multiple top supercars with her and letting them run around. After a brief thought, Chen Wei focused his attention on the titanium crystal doll sleeping soundly on the table. He has always had a deep liking for this kind of fluffy pet, but it's a pity that he can't afford it. Chen Wei decided that if he had the chance in the future, he must contract a titanium crystal doll. He gently rubbed the titanium crystal doll, which had not yet woken up. At this time, the blue light of the source star in Chen Wei's mind began to flash. Feeling the connection between his will and the source star, he directly urged his mental power to use identification. Meow, as if it felt being spied on, the titanium crystal doll opened its sleepy eyes and looked at Chen Wei curiously. Name of pet, titanium crystal doll. Age of pet, 2 months. Attributes of pet, crystal system. Racial level, advanced transcendent. Strength level, larva level 10. Racial skills, titanium crystal stance, titanium crystal absorption, titanium crystal sprint, titanium crystal claw attack, charm. Pet potential, yellow grade top grade. Chen Wei smiled and blinked a few times in response to the curiosity of this little cutie, and then took the opportunity to stroke its warm back with his right hand. The potential level is yellow rank superb, and the awakening skills are titanium crystal stance, titanium crystal absorption, titanium crystal sprint, titanium crystal claw attack, and charm. The strength level is juvenile level 10. After Chen Wei finished petting the cat contentedly, he said confidently. Liu Mengeng's beautiful eyes lit up, her red lips parted, and her magnetic voice suddenly sounded, directly increasing the difficulty of the test questions. Can the source power attribute bias of the crystal be identified? At this moment, Liu Mengeng's eyes looking at Chen Wei revealed a hint of curiosity. Obviously, it was completely beyond her expectation that Chen Wei, who was only a junior appraiser, could have such a fast and accurate appraisal ability. Chapter 14 Attribute Bias. Over the years, Liu Mengeng has seen quite a few awakened people with the identification talent. There is also a senior appraiser with the awakened identification talent in the mall, but it takes at least 10 minutes for him to identify a titanium crystal puppet. At present, she knows that the only appraiser who can get an accurate identification result of a titanium crystal puppet in such a short time is Chen Wei in front of her. You must know that although the awakened people with the identification talent can detect the racial level and potential of pets, this talent is not omnipotent. The more knowledgeable the awakened people are, the faster and more accurate the detection speed of using this talent is. On the contrary, if the awakened people are less knowledgeable, The efficiency of using the talent is low, and the results obtained may not be accurate. Crystal, is this the nickname of this titanium crystal puppet? Looking at the cute crystal, Chen Wei asked softly, as if he didn't hear Liu Menging's question just now. Yes, it's a good nickname. Liu Menging's tone was calm, and her cheeks always maintained an elegant smile. It's a very appropriate nickname, but Crystal's source power attribute seems to be not within the scope of this test. Chen Wei gently pinched Crystal's chubby cat paw and asked back. Sure enough, compared to the sharp and elegant interviewer in front of him, he still felt that the titanium crystal puppet in front of him was more attractive. Meow. Crystal looked up at Chen Wei quietly for a few times, pulled the chubby cat paw out of Chen Wei's hand, and buried her head on the table to sleep as if she had lost interest. It seems that I disturbed its sleep and was disliked. Chen Wei rubbed his head, feeling a little disappointed, but he was reluctant to expend his physical strength to use the dragon's power to caress it. After all, the dragon's power talent is his trump card that he cannot show to others, not to mention that the puppet in front of him is someone else's cat. The test has passed, but Mr. Chen is not an ordinary appraiser. As your future boss, I want to know more about your understanding of the attribute bias of pet beasts. Of course, this is paid, okay, Liu Menging said with interest, and her plain words revealed an unquestionable meaning. Obviously, this handsome boy who was disliked by Crystal had attracted her attention. Pet beast evolution is not a simple matter. After all, it is a special change across different forms and attributes, and the attribute bias of pet beast's source power is a reference for measuring the attribute target of pet beast evolution. The attribute bias of pet beast's source power is generally identified by the crystallization of Donghu country's science and technology, source power attribute instrument or intermediate and above appraisers, but only crystal pet beasts and ghost pet beasts are exceptions. Crystal pet beasts are gem pet beasts, and the source power attribute instrument cannot be used for detailed detection. They can only be identified by appraisers, especially pet beasts such as titanium crystal puppets. The titanium crystal doll is a crystal pet with multiple attribute evolution postures. It will evolve into a pet with different attributes due to the difference in the source power attributes it absorbs and the attribute crystal cores, so she attaches great importance to the attribute bias of the pet. Simply put, the attribute bias of the pet is the physical bias of the pet. For example, if a single ice pet has an ice compatibility of more than 70%, then the compatibility of other attributes it has accounts for less than 30%. Hearing that there is a reward, Chen Wei answered decisively. Chen Wei pretended to observe it with the identification skill for more than 10 minutes. Feeling that the time spent was enough, he said lightly, the crystal compatibility of this titanium crystal doll is only 50%. But the fire attribute has reached 40%. It is recommended to evolve in the direction of fire attribute. As a single crystal pet, its fire compatibility is close to half, which means that it is more suitable for evolution using gems and crystal cores with fire attributes. Pa pa pa, this was the sound of Liu Menging's applause. She was surprised that Chen Wei's appraisal results were more accurate than those of some senior appraisers in the mall. His appraisal results were even less different from those of old Liu. You should know that old Liu was the only master appraiser in their Liu family. Mr. Chen, have you ever considered becoming a professional appraiser? You are the most talented person I have ever seen in appraisal, no one else. Liu Menging looked at Chen Wei sincerely and said, no, appraiser is just my hobby. I just want to be a professional beast master. Chen Wei refused without hesitation. Chen Wei's idea was simple. He was a part-time appraiser just for a living. Compared with working from 9 to 5, he wanted to travel with K Ling, meet more partners, and become stronger together. Chen Wei believed that he and K Ling would definitely become the champions of the National Beastmaster competition and win the title of champion. Okay, welcome to join our puppet mall. Although Chen Wei refused without hesitation, Liu Menging still ended the topic without changing her expression. She didn't have the idea of forcing it. Perhaps Chen Wei's talent for identification is extraordinary, but in her eyes, he is not an indispensable genius. After all, their Liu family also has a master appraiser. What's more, it is not an easy thing to train a master appraiser, and it can even be said to be extremely difficult. Chen Wei only has the potential to become this level, and he doesn't want to become a professional appraiser. In Liu Menging's eyes, the possibility of becoming a master appraiser is basically cut off. Although Liu Menging thinks that it is a waste of talent for someone with such talent not to become a professional appraiser, she doesn't think there is anything wrong with Chen Wei's idea of becoming a professional beastmaster. Most of the people who awaken the Beastmaster talent every year on Blue Star aspire to become a powerful Beastmaster. Under the threat of alien beasts, strength is the main theme of Blue Star, and Beastmasters who pursue strength are not uncommon. I think Mr. Chen is very capable and can take on more difficult work, such as the work of identifying titanium crystal puppets. A minimum of 1 puppet can be identified every month, and a commission of 10,000 star coins will be given for each puppet identification. There is no upper limit. How about that? Liu Menging proposed the new plan. Of course, I can accept it as long as it is not full-time. Chen Wei did not show his expression, but he was a little dignified in his heart. He clearly felt the change in the attitude of the beautiful interviewer in front of him. Is it because the identification took too short a time? But that's not right. It doesn't take long to identify pets. Is it a problem with the source attribute of the titanium crystal puppet? But the attribute values I mentioned are deliberately inaccurate. The sudden doubts made Chen Wei feel a little irritated. The interview was finally successfully concluded. When Chen Wei stood up and prepared to leave, Liu Menging in front of him suddenly stretched out her jade hand, obviously wanting to shake hands. Chen Wei looked at the pink, slender, plump and white hands in front of him, and Liu Menging's nails were still glowing with a soft luster. He hesitated for a moment, then politely stretched out his right hand, gently shook it, and then let it go, and then turned and left. Chen Wei, who was leaving at this moment, didn't know how excited Liu Menging was inside after shaking hands with him. Liu Menging stood there for a moment, then frowned as if thinking about something. In an instant, she opened her eyes wide again, as if she couldn't believe it, and finally opened her mouth slightly, and exclaimed, "Wait! If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels." Chapter 15 Battle Invitation. Just as Chen Wei was about to step out of the office door, he suddenly heard Liu Menging's anxious voice behind him. "Mr. Chen, please wait a moment." Liu Menging walked quickly to Chen Wei's side. "The interview is over. Although it is a bit presumptuous, it is not easy to become a powerful professional Beastmaster. Yesterday happened to be the day for the initial pet contract in Shushan City. I think you have successfully contracted the initial pet. Are you interested in a pet battle with me?" Chen Wei turned to look at Liu Menging. Before he could answer her invitation to fight, he saw her smile again, as if she was covering up something. "Liu Menging, it's just a simple exchange and discussion. Obviously, the interview was over, but the new boss in front of him suddenly did this." This was completely different from the intellectual personality that Chen Wei felt during the interview. Chen Wei felt that the development of today's interview was very wrong. He was stunned for a moment, his tone was a little surprised, and he whispered, "Are you kidding? I'm just a student who has just signed a contract with a pet, and you are already a master Beastmaster. The gap in strength between us is too great." At this moment, Liu Menging, who had long suppressed her inner excitement, teased, "Why, do you still want to fight with my main force? That level of battle is too early for you." Chen Wei was a little confused. He blinked his eyes and tried to figure out the cause of the matter. How come after the interview, the future boss suddenly invited him to fight a pet battle? What a strange way to unfold it. "Don't worry, the pet I use is only a juvenile level 10 crystal. There is no way, except for the crystal that has just been contracted, Liu Menging really has no pet with weaker strength. My pet and I are not fully familiar yet. I am sure I can't beat yours." Chen Wei subconsciously refused. "It's okay. It's just a competition, and there is a prize. Just now I saw that you seemed to like the titanium crystal puppet very much when you were identifying it." Liu Menging's voice became soft. "If you win the battle, how about I give you a titanium crystal puppet for free? Even if you lose, it doesn't matter. I will also give you a pair of source energy detection glasses as encouragement." At this moment, Liu Menging's straightforward voice rang in Chen Wei's mind. What kind of a godly boss is this? He gave away a titanium crystal puppet as soon as he said it. He is really rich and inhumane. If Chen Wei didn't know that Liu Menging was the person in charge of the puppet mall, and the puppet mall was a well-known enterprise in Shushan City, he would even think that he had encountered some new scam. It has to be said that Chen Wei was moved. "It is my honor to fight with you. I hope you can give me more advice." Chen Wei's eyes suddenly changed. He looked at Liu Menging calmly, forced his doubts in his heart, and then a smile appeared on his face. Liu Menging chuckled, glanced at Chen Wei, and teased, "You change so fast, come with me, there is a professional battlefield on the top floor." The crisp sound of high heels rang out on the clean and tidy floor. Looking at the back of Liu Menging walking in front of him, Chen Wei immediately raised his eyebrows. He is just an ordinary high school student. No matter what Liu Menging's plan is, he can only deal with it. What's more, she really gave too much, and it was really impossible to refuse. Chen Wei followed Liu Menging to the battlefield on the top floor. The battle between pets needs to be carried out in a specially established battle venue, because only professional battlefields have strict protective measures and medical guarantees. Each battlefield will be equipped with at least one professional medical technician to promptly treat the injuries caused by the battle between the pets of both parties, to prevent the pets from being in danger of life. Looking at the spacious battlefield in front of him and the medical technicians on standby at all times, Chen Wei couldn't help but sigh that the configuration of the battlefield here is much more luxurious than the battlefield in the school. Is this the happiness of the rich? Let Xiaowen be our referee. Liu Menging looked at the secretary lady next to her who was wearing a slim shirt. Hearing this, Gu Yu nodded to show that she understood, then walked to the referee's seat, coughed lightly, and said directly, "Are both sides ready?" "I'm ready." Chen Wei nodded, looking at Liu Menging with some expectation and excitement in his eyes. He had already told Kai Ling in advance that he would have a difficult battle, and at this moment Kai Ling was confidently waiting for his call. In any case, the opportunity is rare. Although he didn't know why things turned out like this, if he missed the opportunity to get the titanium crystal doll, he would be heartbroken. Okay, Liu Menging nodded, her red lips slightly opened, and there was always an intriguing smile at the corner of her mouth. Could it be this person? Whether it is or not, this is the one with the highest chance of success she has seen in all these years. There is only one thing she needs to do now. If you are ready, you can summon your pets after I count down 3 times. Please note that the Beastmaster can only give orders within his own range of activity and is not allowed to enter the field to fight with the pets. After making sure that the two understood the rules of the battle, the referee Gu Yun blew a brand new whistle. Both sides are ready for battle. 3, 2, 1, the battle begins. As soon as the referee finished speaking, Chen Wei and Liu Menging began to communicate with the Source Star and the Star Ring at the same time to summon the pets. The light blue light intertwined into a blue rune array in front of Chen Wei, and the standard Star Ring in his hand also flashed a blue light, and the figure of Kai Ling quickly appeared in front of Chen Wei. At the same time, a beautiful and elegant figure appeared in the red rune array in front of Liu Menging. It was the titanium crystal puppet, Crystal. Looking at the red rune array that disappeared in front of him, Chen Wei looked solemn. He felt a huge pressure in his heart and was extremely excited at the same time. The source power is a strange and extraordinary power. In the continuous practice, purification and promotion, as the source star is promoted, the iconic color of the source power will also change continuously. The order of the class ranking of the source star is blue, green, orange, white, red, gold, purple, black and colorful. And the bright red light represents that Liu Menging's source star has reached the 5th level. This also means that the next person he will face is a genuine Master Beastmaster. Chen Wei looked at the titanium crystal puppet in front of him with a serious expression. And then encouraged through the contract, "Come on. Kai Ling, the opponent is very strong, we must work hard to win." In order to let Kai Ling go all out, he added more. "If you win this duel, the number of times you strengthen every day will increase by 1. Of course, if you lose, the number of strengthening tonight will be reduced by 1. Yi equals no." Kai Ling, who is already full of confidence, suddenly opened her big watery eyes, and then looked sharply at the fierce and cute titanium crystal puppet. Yi? Failure? I will never allow it. Chapter 16, Fight and Win. The afterglow of the setting sun dyed the white clouds wandering in the blue sky red, turning into a colorful sunset. Liu Menging looked at the cold jade snake flashing orange and yellow light under the sunset, feeling a little puzzled and lost in thought. Although the cold jade snake is a rare pet, Liu Menging happened to have studied this pet and saw at a glance that its size reached the standard of a first-level pet. Therefore, her lazy eyes became sharp in an instant. Carefully observing the scales and patterns on the cold jade snake in the distance, although the distance was not clear enough, according to her previous research experience, she was sure that this was a pet cub that was only 1 month old. At the age of 18, he was able to cultivate the source star to the 2nd level, and the initial pet of the contract was a genius cold jade snake that reached the 10th level of juvenile in just 1 month. This is an awakening identification talent. Can a teenager without rich beast control resources do it? It's really interesting. Liu Menging's gentle and clear eyes were filled with a faint curiosity, and 2 shallow dimples appeared on her cheeks. Feeling the hostile gaze of the cold jade snake, the titanium crystal puppet tilted its cute head and looked at Kayling with curiosity. Use ice spikes, be careful to avoid attacks, use the titanium crystal posture. The battle started instantly, and both sides conveyed instructions to their pets through thoughts at the same time. The crystal clear ice crystal on Kayling's head lit up with blue light, and the ice source energy surrounding its body instantly gathered into ice spikes shining with cold light. Swish, 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 a large number of blue ice spikes quickly passed through the air, and the target of the ice spikes was the titanium crystal puppet that was being strengthened. The titanium crystal puppet standing in place now lit up with a dazzling diamond light on its body. A bright light flashed, and a large number of crystals instantly surged on the body of the titanium crystal puppet, and its body was also wrapped and protected by titanium crystals like armor. Meow, the titanium crystal puppet, which had just finished a titanium crystal posture, focused its eyes and quickly dodged the large number of oncoming ice spikes. 2 bangs sounded, and the titanium crystal doll was still unable to completely avoid the range attack of the ice spikes. Relying on the protection of the titanium crystal armor as a buffer, it took several ice spikes and rushed towards the cold jade snake while enduring the pain. At the same time, Liu Menging's eyes condensed. Titanium crystal sprint, meow. The titanium crystal armor on the titanium crystal doll seemed to be ignited with bright flames. The shining flames instantly spread to all parts of its body, gathering into a ball of light that continuously emitted energy and rushed towards Kayling quickly. Try to keep your distance while using the ice armor, Chen Wei decisively issued an order with his mind. Through the assessment of the test, Chen Wei is quite familiar with the strength and skills of the titanium crystal doll in front of him. It has no long-range attack skills and only close combat skills, which is its biggest weakness. He believes in Kayling. As long as he can keep a distance to fight, even if the opponent is a master beast master, he can compete. In an instant, the titanium crystal doll using the titanium crystal sprint skill hit Kayling's position fiercely with lightning speed. A loud bang sounded, and the attack of the titanium crystal puppet caused a gust of wind on the battlefield, and countless tiny chips scattered in all directions. Cold breath counterattacks. The colorful spirit that was ejected in the air was surrounded by a snow-white ice shield, and it successfully avoided the attack of the titanium crystal puppet. At this time, it opened its mouth in the air and took a deep breath. Its chest slightly bulged, and it used all its strength to spit out the extremely cold breath that had accumulated a large amount of ice energy in its mouth. The cold blue cold breath also set off a terrifying explosion of ice flow, and the sound of crackling continued to sound, dyeing the battlefield blue and white. The titanium crystal puppet on the battlefield was also frozen into a piece of ice by this cold airflow. 2 crackling sounds sounded, and the ice covering the surface of the titanium crystal puppet began to shatter. With the protection of the titanium crystal armor, the cold breath did not cause much damage to it. At this time, it was struggling to break the ice that had frozen it tightly. Take advantage of this moment. Ended with cold breath, Kayling opened her mouth and used her remaining strength to continuously spit out 2 cold blue cold breaths to hit the ice that bound the titanium crystal puppet. The sound of crackling gradually sounded, and the body of the titanium crystal puppet was frozen by the spread of extreme ice. The ice layer became thicker and thicker, and the titanium crystal armor on its body also disappeared in this extreme cold. Looking at the titanium crystal puppet that had lost its resistance, Chen Wei looked at the referee excitedly. He felt that the cute titanium crystal puppet was waving at him. But the referee Guyun was stunned in place, as if she couldn't believe it. She covered her red lips with a glossy and attractive lipstick with her right hand. You know, the lady became a Master Beast Master at the age of 26, and she defeated an unknown number of 5th-level Transcendent Commander-level beasts. With the strength of the lady's source power, even if she uses a juvenile-level pet, she can sweep away the special-level pets with strength below the 2nd-level middle. This is unscientific. Guyun's mind was full of incredible thoughts, and she even suspected that she was dreaming, until she was awakened by a familiar sharp gaze. She looked at Mr. Liu, who nodded in a trance, and then looked at the handsome boy with excitement not far away. She quickly put away her confusion and surprise, and said seriously, "The battle is over, the winner is Chen Wei, After the referee announced the winner, the excited Chen Wei strode towards the slightly tired Kai Ling, and then gently held it in his arms to celebrate his victory. Yay, I am very strong. Kai Ling raised her head and posed proudly, looking at Chen Wei, feeling the excitement and happiness coming from Chen Wei, and her face began to be filled with smiles. Thank you for your hard work, you are the best. Chen Wei did not hesitate to praise, and he would praise when it was time to praise, which was also a way for him to express his love. As for whether it would make Kai Ling proud, Chen Wei felt that it would not be the case. Kai Ling was just arrogant occasionally. Moreover, in his eyes, the confident Kai Ling was extremely cute. Take a break first. Chen Wei gently stroked Kai Ling's body with his right hand and conveyed it with his mind. A reward. Kai Ling tilted her cute head and made a crisp sound. Okay, don't you still believe me? From now on, the number of reinforcements you do every day will be increased to 4 times, Chen Wei comforted her softly, and then put Kai Ling into the star ring. Your performance just now was wonderful, and this is the reward you deserve. Chen Wei looked up and saw Liu Menging handing over a contract. Chen Wei stood up and took the contract. After carefully reading the free gift clause noted on the contract, he looked at Liu Menging in surprise. So resolute, just give it away. This was the first time he encountered such a generous behavior in his life. Thank you, Chen Wei responded politely. He did not refuse and carefully put the contract in his pocket. Although Chen Wei's heart was still full of doubts at this time, he could not refuse such a benefit that was delivered to him. Chapter 17 Ordinary. Miss, Crystal has recovered, thank you for your hard work. Liu Menging took the energetic crystal from the medical staff. She rubbed her cheek against the furry body of the titanium crystal puppet. You worked hard today, Crystal. Meow. By the way, I had a lot of fun today. I'll give you an extra reward. The room for the interview this afternoon will be your independent office in the future. After rubbing the cat, Liu Menging looked at Chen Wei and nodded with satisfaction. Her tone relaxed. Thank you for your reward, President Liu. Chen Wei habitually thanked her. He felt that the benefits given by the beautiful boss he met during the interview today were a bit too much, which made him a little overwhelmed. You? President Liu? I wanted to say during the interview just now that I don't like this old-fashioned address. Liu Menging frowned slightly, and then added, don't use honorifics in the future, just call me Sister Muning, okay? Chen Wei nodded honestly when he heard this. The person in front of him was his future leader. Sister Muning was Sister Muning. Whatever the leader said was what it was. After all, she gave too much? Okay, let's end it here today. You can discuss the specific matters with Xiaoyan. I have something to do, so I'll leave first. Liu Menging looked down at her exquisite watch and seemed to lose interest in continuing the conversation. Chen Wei stared at Liu Menging's leaving figure in a daze. It was a magical day. After the interview, he inexplicably fought a battle with a master beastmaster. What was outrageous was that he won the battle. He immediately earned a titanium crystal puppet worth millions of star coins. Hey, don't look at it. The lady has left. A straightforward voice suddenly came from his ear, and Chen Wei turned to look at the amateur secretary referee. My name is Gu Yun. Let's add a contact number first. By the way, you have to go to work at least 1 day a month. Remember to say hello to me in advance when you go to work on that day. Chen Wei took out his mobile phone and exchanged contact information with her, and noted her name by the way for future contact. Because your contract is special, it takes some time to modify the terms, so we can only wait until the day you start work to sign the contract. Mr. Chen, do you have any questions? Gu Yun explained the work process to Chen Wei in a concise and clear manner. Yes, no more. Night fell. In a luxurious room in the puppet mall, a gorgeous source crystal chandelier hung on the beautifully decorated ceiling, emitting a dreamlike glow. On the exquisite dining table, Liu Menging was eating dinner elegantly, while Gu Yun stood dignified and straight behind her. After finishing her meal, Liu Menging wiped her lips with a napkin, as if she felt something, and asked casually, what's the matter? You have been absent-minded since the afternoon. Did something happen at home? No. Gu Yun bit her lip nervously when she heard it. If you have any questions, just ask them directly. Don't be afraid. Even with my back to you, I can feel your confusion and entanglement. I just feel that you didn't take the duel this afternoon seriously, even. Gu Yun hesitated, not even daring to speak out her doubts. You even deliberately lost to him, right, Xiaoyan? Liu Menging said casually, with a flat tone. No, Gu Yun's eyes suddenly became flustered and uneasy, and she shook her head quickly. Xiaoyan. Don't be nervous. There is no undefeated Beastmaster in the world, not to mention that I am just an ordinary researcher and alchemist, right? Liu Mengeng frowned, speaking casually. Yes. Gu Yun nodded quickly. I'm sorry, miss, my performance today was really bad. It's okay. Although we haven't been together for a long time, I still like your personality. You are frank, capable and unpretentious. Liu Mengeng smiled and comforted the secretary. But if I lose, I'll lose. Losing is not shameful. If you say I'm a match fixer, I'll sue you for defamation. Liu Mengeng's tone was teasing, as if she was joking. I'm very sorry, miss. Gu Yun's face turned pale in an instant, without a trace of blood. Liu Mengeng then touched her ears silently, as if she was feverish. She turned her head and looked at the beautiful night view outside the window with a calm look, thinking secretly in her heart. Was the pet beast battle in the afternoon so obvious? The first match fixing. Even Xiaoyan could see it. Chen Wei did not stay for long. While talking with Gu Yun, the secretary looked at him with surprise and confusion, which made him feel uneasy. He simply cut to the chase and took the initiative to say goodbye and leave. Back at the apartment, Chen Wei, who had been busy all day, lay down on the comfortable bed weakly. The green rune array disappeared in a flash, and in the blink of an eye, the figure of Kei Ling appeared on Chen Wei's chest. Yi, strengthen. Seeing the excitement in Kei Ling's cute eyes, Chen Wei smiled helplessly. Let's do it later. I'll help you strengthen after I finish practicing tonight. Yi. Kei Ling tilted her head in disappointment, turned around sadly, and curled up next to the pillow. She obviously didn't want to continue communicating with Chen Wei. Okay, I really can't stand you. Chen Wei smiled dumbly. Is it necessary to be so anxious? It's not like he won't strengthen her. But to be honest, he was also happy from the bottom of his heart that Kei Ling liked his massage strengthening so much. Chen Wei got up from the bed with a smile on his face, trying to coax Kei Ling. The next second, a familiar buzzing sound came from his pocket. It was the sound of a vibrating mobile phone. He subconsciously took out his mobile phone, and his eyes were involuntarily attracted by the incoming call notification on the mobile phone. Hello, your package has been delivered. Please come out and pick it up, okay? Chen Wei hung up the phone and held the rolled-up Kei Ling in his arms, like coaxing a child. Okay, don't be angry, cheer up, your food has just arrived, let's go get it together. Chen Wei opened the door, and a courier wearing a blue uniform with the words Rainbow Eagle Express on it was standing at the door with a package. This is your package, please show me the retrieval code. The courier looked at the ball-shaped pet in Chen Wei's arms in confusion. He rarely saw such a cute pet. The retrieval code is a necessary procedure for picking up the package to ensure that it is the Beastmaster who picks it up. After all, the goods in the Beastmaster Mall are only sold to Beastmasters, and Beastmasters shopping in the mall are strictly prohibited from selling Beastmaster goods to ordinary people. Once a Beastmaster who engages in such reselling behavior is discovered, he will be severely punished by the Beastmaster Association, and in serious cases, the association's Beastmaster qualification will be revoked. Taking the package from the courier, Chen Wei glanced at the tightly packed package casually, nodded with satisfaction, and uttered a string of numbers. Ding, signed for successfully. This was the notification sound from the courier's phone. Thank you for choosing our Hongqiang Express. The courier turned around and left after confirming that there was no problem with the process. A Greek letter Omega? Food? What is it? Kei Ling looked at the package in Chen Wei's hand curiously, then stretched out her tongue to touch the package tentatively. Hey! Don't, it's dirty there, it's not food. Chen Wei quickly stopped Kei Ling's curious behavior. Newcomer, new book, is anyone reading it? Chapter 18, Talent Out of Control. Pay attention to hygiene, don't touch unfamiliar things with your tongue, don't do it next time. Chen Wei nagged Kei Ling a few times, trying to get her to change this bad habit. After all, Kei Ling is only a 1-month-old baby, and Chen Wei needs to teach her some common sense in life. He knows that snakes generally use their tongues to collect information, but as an extraordinary creature, Kei Ling actually no longer needs to use her tongue to smell. Her cute eyes are not for show. Yai, not for food. Kei Ling looked at it in confusion, obviously still unable to understand. This is the packaging, the food is still inside. Here, this is your dinner. Chen Wei opened the package in his hand, and then pointed to the secondary ice source crystal and fresh spirit fish in the package and said, "Yee, got it." Kayling tilted her head indifferently. "Eat it." Taking out a fresh spirit fish, Chen Wei gently handed it to Kayling's mouth. Kayling looked at the fresh fish in Chen Wei's hand and fell into deep thought. She was afraid of attacking her owner. Let it go." Kayling stared at her big watery eyes. Chen Wei, who had wanted to feed her by hand, disappointedly put the fresh fish in his hand on the clean table. Kayling's body bounced and instantly bit the fresh fish, jumping on the table. With a breath of cold air from her mouth, she instantly froze the fish in her mouth into a lump of ice. It seems that Kayling prefers to eat frozen food. Looking at Kayling eating, Chen Wei lowered his head to pack up the remaining fresh fish and source crystals, and then put them in the refrigerator for preservation. At 7 o'clock in the evening, after Kayling had eaten and drunk enough, Chen Wei also finished dinner and began his daily practice. After the practice, Chen Wei, who felt a little improvement, woke up Kayling, who was sleeping in a beautiful dream. "Kayling, wake up, it's time to strengthen." When Kayling, who was sleeping, heard about strengthening, she immediately became energetic, opened her eyes suddenly, and instantly wrapped her body around Chen Wei's wrist. Looking at Kayling's impatient behavior, Chen Wei smiled slightly. He was really impatient. He gently stroked Kayling's petite body and used the dragon power to strengthen twice. Kayling enjoyed Chen Wei's caress comfortably, feeling that her strength was getting stronger at a speed visible to the naked eye, but unfortunately, she could only enjoy it for a few minutes each time. Greek letter epsilon. 3. So fast. After completing the 2 strengthenings, Kayling looked up at Chen Wei. She was not satisfied yet. She still wanted to experience the feeling of getting stronger. Feeling Kayling's resentful eyes, Chen Wei smiled helplessly. "Didn't we agree? If you win the battle, you will strengthen 4 times a day. Counting the 2 strengthenings tonight, you have strengthened 4 times today. I will also prepare delicious dragon crystals for you." Kayling reluctantly left Chen Wei's wrist after hearing this. She slipped to Chen Wei's pillow and took a nap. She couldn't resist the temptation of food, so it was better to sleep. Out of sight, out of mind. Anyway, the master said that the dragon crystal was a gift prepared for her to be promoted to the 1st level. When her strength breaks through to the 1st level, she will be able to taste the long-awaited dragon crystal happily. Work hard to grow, my future trump card. Looking at Kayling, who gradually fell into deep sleep, Chen Wei's mouth slowly curved up. Chen Wei stood up and stretched his waist, stretched his muscles, and then exhaled heavily, venting his fatigue. He still had homework on the dragon crystal to complete. But he would not strengthen the dragon crystal today. According to previous experience, with the little energy he had left, he could only barely make a primary dragon crystal. As for why he chose to make dragon crystal, it was because his second pet had already been settled, which was the titanium crystal puppet he had always dreamed of, but he had not had time to choose it. It is not the lack of wealth that is worrying, but the inequality. Even for the future pet, the gifts that should be prepared in advance to avoid conflicts in the team at that time. Putting aside other things, as a beast master, Chen Wei wants to try his best to be fair and just in giving pets and beast resources. "Sorry, Kayling, please forgive me, I just can't resist a furry silver gradient puppet." After making fun of himself, Chen Wei skillfully took out a disposable blood collection needle, disinfectant alcohol and band-aid from his bag on the bedside table. There was no way a drop of his blood was needed to make the dragon crystal. As a person who read the spring and autumn annals, he couldn't just bite his finger with his mouth to collect blood like the characters in the novel. Not to mention that it would be a bit wasteful and unhygienic to bleed so much. The key is that Chen Wei couldn't do that. He didn't have that kind of ruthlessness, and he didn't know what kind of ruthless person could take blood in this way. Chen Wei first pressed his left index finger with his right thumb several times, so that the fingertip was congested with blood, and then disinfected it with alcohol, and then pierced the skin of the fingertip with a blood collection needle. After dripping the blood on his palm, he used a band-aid to cover the wound on the fingertip. Looking at the blood in his palm, Chen Wei did not hesitate and directly activated his second talent, the power of controlling the dragon. With a sizzle sound, the blood in his palm ignited an illusory blue flame. The liquid blood exuded an alluring fragrance under the condensation of the flame. As the fragrance spread, Kayling, who was immersed in a beautiful dream, seemed to be attracted. Her head shook slightly, and then she suddenly opened her eyes and looked up in the direction of the fragrance. Chen Wei looked at the blood in his palm gradually shrinking and condensing into a red crystal essence. His face was a little solemn. He felt that his physical strength was rapidly flowing to the red crystal in his palm. This time, the physical strength consumed was much more than when he made the dragon crystal before. Chen Wei tried to stop making the dragon crystal, but there was no response. He twisted the muscles in his thigh hard, trying to use the pain to resist the surging sleepiness. At this moment, Chen Wei's slightly pale face was covered with a lot of sweat, but he still kept the balance of his left palm tightly. He gritted his teeth and persisted. He didn't know how long it took, maybe a minute, or maybe a long time. With a crisp creaking sound, the dragon crystal finally condensed, and the tempting fragrance disappeared instantly. Success, Chen Wei exhaled lightly, and then his eyes suddenly went black. And he fainted on the bed with his whole body weak. B. Making delicious food? What's wrong? Kailing felt Chen Wei's weakness through the contract. She carefully crawled to Chen Wei's side and rubbed Chen Wei's sweaty face with her little cheek. Her watery eyes were full of worry. The unconscious Beastmaster needed protection. Kailing glanced around the room vigilantly. After a moment, her eyes looked at the dragon crystal tightly held in Chen Wei's hand. So touching, there were some water stains in the corners of the innocent Kailing's eyes. Are you so tired to prepare food for me? Thinking of the scene when she was awakened by the fragrance and watched Chen Wei making dragon crystal. The persistence and determination she felt from the contract at that time. Is this my Beastmaster? Kailing was moved and a little worried. This was the first time she felt such a strange feeling. What can I give in return? Kailing immediately thought of today's battle. Every time she won, she could feel Chen Wei's happiness and excitement through the contract. I will bring you victory. Kailing made up her mind at this time. She was trembling slightly as she pressed against Chen Wei, and there seemed to be a flame burning in her eyes. Chapter 19 Experimental Talent. The sleepy Chen Wei didn't know that when he fell into deep sleep, the naive Kailing had inexplicably completed her self-strategy and greatly improved her favorability towards him. At this time, in the bright and warm room, on the soft and tidy bed, a cute little snake was blinking its crystal-like eyes, and its pitiful eyes seemed to be filled with a trace of worry and anxiety. Her petite and slender tail swayed slightly with Chen Wei's breathing, gently wiping the fine beads of sweat on Chen Wei's face. For the first time, Chen Wei felt that his eyelids were so heavy. He frowned and opened his eyes with difficulty. The first thing he saw was Kailing's crystal-clear eyes. A thought suddenly popped up. Did I faint because of exhaustion? Chen Wei suddenly came back to his senses. Yi, wake up. Seeing the Beastmaster in front of her wake up, Kailing excitedly raised her head high. Chen Wei felt warm at the sight, and couldn't help but grin. He gazed at the excited Kailing with satisfaction, and didn't even have time to look at the dragon crystal tightly held in his hand. As if sensing Chen Wei's gaze, Kailing's body stiffened slightly, and she quickly curled up into a ball after reacting. Okay, stop hiding it. I didn't expect you to care about me so much. No. Kailing looked at Chen Wei with panic in her eyes, as if she didn't know how to face it. She simply didn't continue to speak, hiding her head in the quilt, and facing away from Chen Wei like an ostrich. What a dishonest child. She only acts like a spoiled child to me when she is strengthening. Chen Wei sighed helplessly in his heart. Although he understood it in his heart, Chen Wei did not continue to expose Kailing's duplicity. After all, looking at Kailing's tired look, she probably guarded him all night last night, so let her have a good rest now. Gently rubbing his forehead, which was still a little painful, Chen Wei smiled bitterly as he felt the pain in his muscles. His physical strength was drained. Raising his left hand, Chen Wei stared at the rice-sized primary dragon crystal in his palm, frowning slightly, and his heart was full of confusion. Why did I consume so much physical strength to make the dragon crystal last night? I clearly reserved enough physical strength to use it once for strengthening. Chen Wei gave up thinking because his brain was still aching. He shook his head and put the dragon crystal into the jade box hidden close to his body. Then, unable to resist the exhaustion, he closed his eyes and took a nap. He slept until the evening of that afternoon. If it weren't for his hungry stomach waking him up, Chen Wei even felt that he could sleep for another day and night. After recovering, Chen Wei first filled his stomach, and then fed Kailing. After dinner, Chen Wei did not start practicing. He planned to study his second talent first. The accident last night could only happen once, and he didn't want to repeat it when making dragon crystals in the future. This situation doesn't need to happen too often, and another one will cost him most of his life. K-Ling, come here. Chen Wei took a notebook and recorded the process of making dragon crystals last night in detail, and shouted to K-Ling, who was concentrating on watching TV. Yi, hearing this, K-Ling exerted force with her tail and instantly shot to Chen Wei's side, using a ballpoint pen to scribble the words of the previous life. And touching K-Ling's curious head, Chen Wei frowned slightly after looking at the written data. When awakening the talent, the first time to make dragon crystals took 1 minute, which consumed nearly half of his physical strength. The subsequent dragon crystal enhancement also took 1 minute, which would consume his remaining physical strength. Over the past year, the day-to-day dragon crystal enhancement has continuously improved Chen Wei's physical fitness, and his number of enhancements has also increased from twice a day to 5 times, lasting a total of 5 minutes. Especially after he was promoted to the second-level Source Star, the effect of the dragon power increased a lot, but unfortunately, with his current physical strength, he can only continue to strengthen for 5 minutes. It seems that the physical strength he increased during the advancement was used to make up for the consumption after the dragon power effect was enhanced. Chen Wei shook his head. The process of making dragon crystal last night did not change at all. Practice makes perfect. It seems that only one more dragon crystal can be made. However, before condensing the dragon crystal, it is necessary to strengthen K-Ling once as a reference, so that he can clearly know the physical strength he needs to consume to make dragon crystal now. Chen Wei gently stroked K-Ling's body, and with a thought, he directly activated his talent. Feeling the gradual increase in his own strength, K-Ling opened his mouth slightly with satisfaction. After the strengthening was completed, Chen Wei closed his eyes and carefully checked his own physical consumption. After confirming that he still had enough physical strength, he started to make dragon crystal again. A minute later, Chen Wei stared at the shiny primary dragon crystal in his palm, with a bit of confusion and surprise on his face. Everything is normal. Could it be that last night was an accident? Chen Wei took a deep breath and tried to calm his inner excitement. After all, the dragon crystal in front of him was only the third one he made, which did not mean anything. Comparing the newly made dragon crystal with the dragon crystal from last night, they were both the size of rice grains, and the only difference was that the color of the latter was slightly darker. Chen Wei, who did not believe in evil, used his identification talent. He looked at the effects of the two primary dragon crystals in front of him with doubtful eyes. There was almost no difference. If you must say the difference between the two dragon crystals, maybe the darker one was strengthened once more? Chen Wei scratched his head. He was full of doubts and chose to continue making dragon crystals. He would never give up until he solved this problem today. 3 minutes later, Chen Wei, who felt that his physical strength was exhausted, looked at the 4 crystal clear primary dragon crystals in front of him with his eyes blankly. The process of making dragon crystals tonight was very smooth, even so smooth that he could not believe it. Chen Wei, who was in a pig brain overload at the moment, didn't know that K-Ling was looking at him with her watery eyes in shock, making a dragon crystal every now and then, as if making dragon crystals was as simple as drinking water. Degree Cyrillic letter D degree. K-Ling's eyes were full of astonishment. She unconsciously stood up, her snake mouth slightly opened, and a big question mark was hidden in her small head. Her expression was full of surprise. Last night, in order to make a delicious meal, the Beastmaster in front of him was so tired that he fainted for a whole day. How come he easily made 3 delicious meals tonight? Is this what humans call becoming stronger? Chen Wei, who has never been able to find the reason, let out a sigh of helplessness. He shook his head, but his eyes happened to see K-Ling standing upright. His pupils suddenly shrank, thinking that tonight, in order to experiment with talent, K-Ling's enhancement was only completed once. There was no way, at this moment, he was powerless and had to smile at K-Ling with a guilty conscience. There are still 3 more enhancements for today, how about you take them first? Angry, no. K-Ling immediately stared at Chen Wei with a bad look. Her mind was full of ideas. This Beastmaster is incredible. If he can give up the enhancement agreement with her today, he can give up the beast control contract with her tomorrow. No, absolutely not. Chapter 20, The Hermit. Impossible. K-Ling became angrier and angrier as she thought about it. She agreed to become Chen Wei's pet because of his enhancement, but it hasn't been a few days yet and he is going to deduct her number of enhancements. She then recalled the touching moment last night and felt as if she had been deceived. She stared at Chen Wei intensely. Okay, I was wrong. I shouldn't have said that. There will be no fewer enhancements today, don't worry. Chen Wei also knew that his behavior was not appropriate, but he didn't expect Kai Ling's reaction to be so great. He shook his head helplessly, and didn't even think about the sudden loss of control of the power of the dragon last night. It took a lot of effort to appease the angry Kai Ling. After all, he was in the wrong first and didn't fulfill the agreement properly, not to mention that Kai Ling had just helped him fight and earned millions of star coins 2 days ago. No, the more Chen Wei thought about it, the more he felt that he was sinning, and he couldn't help but slap himself. Can you show some courage? You even broke the promise you made to your child. After reflecting on himself, he decided to go out and buy some supplements to replenish his body. He really couldn't let Kai Ling down tonight. As for why Chen Wei didn't buy it on the mobile app, but dragged his tired body to go shopping, it was purely because he was too poor now and couldn't bear the high delivery fee at night. Come on, go to the star ring to rest first, and I will help you strengthen it later. Chen Wei put the arrogant Kai Ling into the star ring. Basically, Chen Wei would carry all the valuables with him, and he was reluctant to leave Kai Ling alone in the room even when he went out to buy medicine. The medicine refining culture of Blue Star is very popular. In the prosperous streets and alleys of Shushan City, there is a pharmacy every few thousand meters. So after Chen Wei went out, he didn't look for long before he found a pharmacy called Danding Pharmacy. As soon as he entered the medicine hall, Chen Wei smelled the mixed aroma of medicine. He touched the tip of his nose and liked it very much. He felt that the aroma of medicine was very unique and not suffocating, a bit like the faint fragrance of Kai Ling. He glanced at the layout of the medicine hall. Unlike the modernity that Chen Wei imagined, the hall was slightly simple. The middle of the room was empty, and medicine cabinets were placed on the 3 walls. The drawers on them were marked with the names of medicinal materials. There was a wooden table in front of the medicine cabinet for doctors to dispense medicine. Excuse me, what do you need? When Chen Wei was looking for supplements, an old doctor wearing a flowery gown and with a gray beard looked at him and asked, "Are there any supplements that can quickly restore physical strength, especially for beastmasters?" Chen Wei unconsciously looked away, his eyes dodged, and asked softly, as if he was a little embarrassed, "Do you just need a tonic to restore your physical strength? Seeing your pale face, maybe you need some pills to replenish your energy." The old doctor heard this, his eyes flashed, and he carefully looked at Chen Wei's face, and then said with a strange look, "No, it's just that the physical strength is too much. Give me 2 sets of vitality powder will be enough." Chen Wei was stunned. Did the Blue Star Pharmacy also promote this set? He directly refused. Vitality powder is a powder preparation of medicinal materials that has been concentrated and extracted. The dosage is small, and the medicinal effect is strong and long-lasting. It mainly has the effects of promoting blood circulation, restoring physical strength, and strengthening physical fitness. He himself has studied pills and learned a lot of introductory knowledge about alchemists on the internet. After all, a beastmaster who doesn't want to be an alchemist is not an excellent beastmaster. In the process of training pet beasts, beast resources are indispensable. Unless you are very lucky and encounter a genius treasure when you go out, or you are an alchemist yourself, otherwise you can only honestly buy pills made by alchemists. The pills that the alchemist condenses by extracting the essence of extraordinary medicine can quickly improve the strength of pets. Some low-level pills are easy to buy in most pharmacies, but high-level pills are not available to ordinary people. Without sufficient strength and connections, high-level pills are out of the question, which makes the status of alchemists particularly prominent and noble in Blue Star. Chen Wei naturally wants to become a noble alchemist. In particular, Chen Wei's second talent consumes physical strength like a bottomless pit. Without the help of pills, he may not even be able to meet the requirements of the number of times the colorful spirit is strengthened in the future, not to mention that he has to contract other pets. When he thinks of the many pets that will be hungry in the future, Chen Wei is overwhelmed. He is still young and doesn't want to die at a young age. 2 sets of vitality powder, sincere discount of 6,000 star coins, hiss. After paying, Chen Wei, who took the medicine powder, took a breath of cold air with pain. He didn't buy tonics before because they were too expensive and he couldn't afford them. "Young man, do you really not need medicine to treat your mental power?" Dojo stroked his snow-white beard solemnly and asked as if he had it all figured out. "Is there something wrong with my mental state?" Chen Wei seemed to feel something was wrong. The old doctor in front of him had a strange tone, not like a liar. Do you mind if I take your pulse? Zhou frowned after thinking for a moment. After Chen Wei hesitated, he stretched out his left and right hands and took the old doctor's pulse for a while. After pondering for a moment, Zhou looked at Chen Wei with strange eyes, as if he had encountered a very rare pulse. Qi is rooted in the kidneys and also returns to the kidneys. Therefore, it is said that the kidneys absorb Qi and its breath is deep. This shouldn't be. You are young but you are deficient in Qi and blood, lack of essence and Qi, and your foundation is somewhat damaged. Judging from the pulse, your spirit has also been greatly damaged recently, as if you have suffered some backlash. Strange, really strange. Hearing this, Chen Wei suddenly condensed, his eyes moved slightly, and a sentence awakened the dreamer. He suddenly thought of the accident when he made dragon crystal last night. I didn't expect that when I went out to buy medicine these days, I could meet a famous doctor who could tell the problem with him at a glance. Please give me some advice. Chen Wei looked at the confident old doctor in front of him with burning eyes. It's not that I can give you advice. I can only treat some minor illnesses. This is a rejuvenation pill. It can restore your spirit. You can take it together with vitality powder. Try not to do high-intensity physical activities in the past half month. You can recover by meditating and practicing more every day. Zhou took out a white jade bottle from the drawer at the front desk and placed it in front of Chen Wei, saying lightly, "Thank you, doctor." "How much is this rejuvenation pill?" Chen Wei asked curiously. Meeting his fate. This rejuvenation pill is only a first-grade top-grade pill. 10,000 star coins are enough. Remember, try to do less when you go back. Young people should grasp the degree, Zhou reminded lightly. Hearing this, Chen Wei's face turned red instantly. After paying the money and thanking him, he left the pharmacy quickly and awkwardly. He didn't want to argue with the doctor about this issue in public. The power of controlling dragons was his secret. Watching Chen Wei's back, Zhou stroked his beard and smiled proudly. He sold another bottle of rejuvenation pill today, and his sales performance increased by 1. This kid is so pale at such a young age, without a trace of blood, and his lips are blue. It is obvious that he is overworked and weak. He rushed to the pharmacy to buy tonic medicine in the middle of the night. I gave this kid such a warning, and tonight I can be regarded as doing a good deed every day. Chapter 21 Cold Breath Mastery. Chen Wei returned to the room and looked at the pills in his hand with joy. The word backlash from the old doctor awakened Chen Wei, who was blinded by a leaf. Perhaps it was because of the awakening of the 2 talents that there was a problem in the process of making the dragon power last night. The conflict between the 2 talents caused him to be unable to control the dragon power. Chen Wei could vaguely feel that perhaps with the advancement of his source star, the gradual enhancement of the 2 talents of identification and dragon power, the conflict between his innate talents will gradually erupt, and the strong mental power may be able to suppress the backlash of his talents. Fortunately, he persevered that day with his firm will. Chen Wei's face was filled with smiles. He felt that his luck today was really good. When he went out to buy medicine, he could meet a hermit doctor to help him solve his doubts and give him a solution. This is also thanks to Kailing. She is really a lucky star, otherwise he would not have come out to buy medicine today. He remembered the name and location of the medicine hall firmly. Next time he encounters a problem, he can continue to go to the doctor for guidance. A bottle of rejuvenation pill contains 10 pills. After slowly moving his numb body, Chen Wei poured a proper amount of vitality powder into hot water and swallowed it together with a rejuvenation pill. After taking the medicine, he couldn't help but shudder, feeling that his body was gradually getting hot, and his physical strength and energy were also recovering rapidly. Oh, is the effect of the medicine so fast? Chen Wei was a little surprised. It was indeed true that you get what you pay for. Strength was coming from all parts of the body. An hour later, Chen Wei nodded with satisfaction. Although his forehead was still a little painful at this time, he felt that he was fine now. He closed his eyes and meditated to feel his own state. Now he could at least strengthen 4 times. He urged the source power and summoned Kailing from the star ring. Kailing still looked angry, and her eyes deliberately looked away, but Chen Wei keenly noticed the slight rise at the corner of her mouth. Obviously, she was still very happy at this time. Chen Wei touched her head apologetically, and then continued the unfinished strengthening. Kailing tilted her head habitually, feeling the familiar feeling of getting stronger. If she continues to strengthen like this, she will soon be able to advance to the first level. Then she can eat all the delicious red dragon crystals that have accumulated. She opened her snake mouth slightly, spit out her snake tongue lightly, blinked her light blue pupils, and revealed an extremely happy expression. Keiling, Chen Wei felt Keiling's inner thoughts and frowned slightly. This little guy's idea is very dangerous. It's not easy for me to make a dragon crystal. She just wants it all. What about her future partners? She can't develop the habit of eating alone. Half of the dragon crystal is for you, and the other half is for me. Partners must learn to share. Yi, okay, Keiling nodded, looking indifferent. As long as it is not related to the number of strengthening, she can discuss it. But after strengthening, she also discovered a communication trick. That is, she must be firm in her attitude towards Chen Wei, and she must not show a good face to the Beastmaster in front of her. Otherwise it is easy to deduct her strengthening times. Today's strengthening times were almost deducted by the big villain in front of her. Chen Wei's face fell instantly. Did this little guy know that he could feel her inner thoughts when he concentrated, and he actually criticized him in front of him? This little cotton jacket is not good. It has just been strengthened. It hasn't been a few seconds, and now it starts to leak. Don't you know that we can transmit ideas through the contract? I was wrong tonight. Don't have these weird ideas. Chen Wei's face was weird. He didn't expect that his actions tonight would leave such a bad impression on her. Keiling, whose thoughts were exposed, froze her body. After a crisp scream, her petite figure instantly disappeared from Chen Wei's side and rushed directly into the quilt. Okay, the strengthening has been completed. You should rest early. You have to get up early for training tomorrow. Chen Wei had no choice but to urge helplessly. This girl always likes to curl up in bed. I don't know what she wants. She is happy just staying in bed without sleeping. Yi, okay, a dull response came from the quilt. Chen Wei followed the old doctor's advice and began to meditate tonight. For the sake of his beloved pets in the future, he decided to start a health plan from tomorrow. The next morning, the autumn scenery was pleasant and the sky was clear. It was a good day for training. On the elementary ice and snow training ground in the Beastmaster Association building, a petite and delicate white jade snake was moving at high speed on the ice with fine snow falling. Surprisingly, even at such a fast speed, the cold breath she kept spewing out of her mouth could still accurately hit the target one by one, raising large pieces of crystal ice. Keiling rushed to the rock at high speed and slapped the ground with her tail. Her muscles suddenly contracted with a force, and her petite body was launched into the air like a spring. She was rolling in the air, pulling the light blue source of energy around her. The ice crystals on her head were also shining with cold blue light. She opened her mouth slightly, gathering a large blue light ball. The next second, the light ball turned into a blue-white energy beam and hit the rock. The rock was directly frozen into a large ice block by the energy beam, and a large number of small cracks appeared on the ice covering it. There were only two loud booms, and the entire huge rock turned into countless broken ice blocks, setting off an ice storm. How do you feel now? Do you remember that feeling, looking at the drastic changes in the terrain caused by the cold breath from Keiling's mouth? Chen Wei said in surprise. Yi, oh, so tired. After launching that attack, Keiling seemed very tired, and she shook her head weakly. It's okay, take a break first. Today's practice of the cold breath skill has made great progress. Think more about the feeling of releasing the cold breath just now, grasp that feeling until you can release such cold breath stably many times, and you will perfectly master the mastery level of cold breath, Chen Wei encouraged Keiling. Generally speaking, the skilled level of cold breath can only freeze and restrict the enemy, while the mastery level of cold breath can instantly detonate the ice energy covering the enemy's entire body while freezing, thus causing considerable damage. Although there is only one level difference between the skilled level and the mastery level, the effects they can cause are worlds apart. Yai, no problem. Chen Wei thought that it would take at least a week of hard work for Keiling to reach the mastery level of cold breath. But he didn't expect that Keiling could actually shorten the practice time to 2 days. The cultivation of skills is not a simple matter. Although the cold breath is only a first-level ice skill, it will take at least half a year for ordinary pets to master it to the mastery level. Even for the cold jade snake, compared to the information Chen Wei had read, Keiling's progress was indeed somewhat shocking. Chen Wei thought to himself, could it be that the physical potential increased by the power of the dragon encompasses all aspects of the potential of the pet? Or is Keiling actually a genius in skill training? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 22 Snow Lotus Pill. Kayling spent a whole day practicing the high-speed release and power control of the cold breath skill. The battles between low-level pets often decide the winner in a very short time, and Kayling, who can move at high speed and dodge while quickly launching attacks, has basically achieved both offense and defense. It must be said that what Chen Wei likes most about Kayling is that whenever she enters the training state, she will concentrate on training and complete his instructions perfectly. After a whole day of training, Kayling has perfectly mastered the mastery level of cold breath. This makes Chen Wei feel very gratified, and she is worthy of being his pet. The first small goal of Kayling's skill training has been successfully completed, and the next time can be used to concentrate on practicing her third-level mental skill, telekinesis. After dinner, Chen Wei watched Kayling happily licking the vanilla-flavored marshmallow in his hand, and thought silently in his heart. As a third-level skill, telekinesis skills are not an easy task to master as skillfully as cold breath. This skill can only be naturally comprehended by the Jade Snake when it reaches the third level after reaching adulthood, so when he signed the contract, he immediately chose Kayling, who was outstanding among them. Of course, Kayling's one-of-a-kind appearance is also a big plus. Kayling's telekinesis is only at the entry level, and the effective time is about 10 seconds. Moreover, once she is slightly disturbed by a strong impact when using telekinesis, it will be interrupted instantly. After careful consideration, Chen Wei found the dumbbells that had been idle for a long time and covered with dust in the room. This detachable dumbbell can adjust the weight, which can be used as a training prop for Kayling's telekinesis, which can be regarded as a waste utilization. After simply deciding the content of tomorrow's training, he took out his mobile phone and clicked on the app of the Beast Taming Mall, and then found the Puppet Mall. Although he has not officially started work yet, Chen Wei still plans to patronize his employer's business first. After all, Kayling's training has been very hard recently, and she exercises all day long. However, such intense energy consumption also caused her appetite to increase greatly in the past few days, so that the food that Chen Wei bought before was almost consumed. Browsing the wide variety of goods in the mall, Chen Wei simply gritted his teeth and directly bought 3 bottles of first-level medium-quality Snow Lotus pills, a total of 30 pills. Snow Lotus pills are suitable for ice-type pets below the second level. Its function is very simple. It can not only be used as pet food to meet the daily consumption of pets, but also slightly improve the pet's absorption efficiency of ice-type source energy and increase the speed of cultivation. This star coin is really not worth spending, Chen Wei sighed silently. He spent 60,000 star coins on Guang Kayling's food for this month, and he didn't know how other Beastmasters could support it. If it weren't for the part-time job, Chen Wei wouldn't dare to spend so much. After placing the order, Chen Wei browsed his mobile phone for a while to see if there was any rare information in Hanyang Province recently. Dr. Wu from the Research Department of Hanyang University announced the latest research results. The evolutionary path of the Brilliant King level pet, Fire Tin Angry Ape, and the value of Purple Fire Ape may see a substantial increase. Yesterday, the third-level Xianzhuan secret realm that appeared around Anxian Mountain in Chang City has been developed by the Chang City Beast Taming Association. 1 month later, this secret realm will be open to all Beastmasters in Hanyang Province. Shocked, in broad daylight, a pharmacist actually did such a thing. Click here to expand. After a cursory look at the recent news, Chen Wei began tonight's Source Star meditation practice. The refining and reinforcement of the Source Star is an important practice that every Beastmaster needs to carry out. The stronger the Source Star, the higher the contract strength, the greater the binding force on the pet, and the more pets that can be contracted. The purity of the refined Source Star can improve the growth efficiency of the contracted pet and effectively shorten the growth period of the pet. When the strength or purity of the Source Star is cultivated to a certain level, the Source Star will automatically advance. Of course, if you want to take both into account, you can also simply meditate and cultivate your mental power until the Source Star naturally advances, and its strength and purity will be greatly enhanced as it advances. There are 3 routes, one that emphasizes the strength of the Source Star, one that emphasizes the purity of the Source Star, and the last one that takes both into account, but neither of them is prominent, but the Beastmaster's own mental power will continue to increase. Therefore, each Beastmaster will cultivate the Source Star according to his own needs, and Chen Wei chose the third route without hesitation. Coming from a planet without extraordinary power to a blue star with great power, he desires extraordinary power more than anyone else, and he also wants to have his own extraordinary power. After practicing, Chen Wei began his strengthening homework every night. This time Chen Wei drank the tonic in advance, and he still retained quite good physical strength until he fell asleep. The next morning, Chen Wei opened his sleepy eyes, got up and stretched while yawning slowly, feeling that he was particularly energetic today. After breakfast, Chen Wei wrapped Kei Ling, who looked reluctant, around his neck and then went out for a run. Chen Wei felt that running with Kei Ling every morning could enhance their relationship. But Kei Ling didn't seem to think so. Every time Chen Wei hadn't run a few hundred meters, she always liked to jump and wrap her petite body around Chen Wei's wrist. It was still the same today. Looking at Kei Ling's skilled movements, Chen Wei smiled helplessly. He really couldn't do anything about her. However, this can also be considered running together. Buzz buzz buzz. Chen Wei, who was jogging in the morning, suddenly felt a vibration from the mobile phone in his backpack. Hello. He took out his mobile phone and answered it. Brother Wei, do you want to go fishing together this afternoon? Hearing Lao Wang's familiar voice, Chen Wei, who was breathing a little hurriedly, replied lightly, aren't you going to train your thornfish? You still have time to fish? What are you doing? Exercising early in the morning, Wang Zicheng said in surprise. Running. A day's plan begins in the morning. I'm running with Kei Ling. Oh. My thornfish has been promoted to the 7th level of juveniles. I think it's quite tiring to train every day recently, so I plan to give it a rest in the afternoon. Really? Congratulations to you. But forget about fishing. I was blacklisted by Mr. Lin from the reservoir because I caught too many red-tailed goldfish. I guess I can't fish anymore. Brother Wei, you are awesome. I've been fishing with Mr. Lin for so many years, and this is the first time I've seen him blacklist someone. Haha, this red-tailed goldfish is coming for my fishing rod. There's really nothing I can do. By the way, is your pharmacy still short of interns? I want to learn the technique of alchemy recently. Chen Wei suddenly remembered that Lao Wang's family also opened a pharmacy, so he asked casually without holding out too much expectations. Chapter 23, Sun Puppet. You can be an apprentice, but I don't think you can learn to make pills. The junior alchemist supported by our pharmacy seems to have his eyes on the top of his head, and he is so proud. Even my father wanted me to learn alchemy from him, but he refused, Wang Zicheng said angrily, and it was obvious that Chen Wei's words evoked his bad memories. Forget it, I will find other ways myself. Chen Wei had no choice but to reply helplessly after hearing this. He just wanted to try it out. After all, he didn't want to go to the Alchemist Association to start as a student worker. Students are not as good as apprentices. Apprentices can at least learn something, while students are just simple workers who do basic work and have to pass the alchemist's inspection for 1 or 2 years before they can become apprentices. It depends purely on the alchemist's eye. Don't look down on apprentices. Even if you are qualified as an apprentice, you need to be a person with connections to obtain it. Ordinary people don't have to think about it. Of course, if you can awaken your innate talent for alchemy, you will become a hot commodity. The door of the Alchemist Association is always open to you. If you just want to step into that door, you can easily become an alchemist. But unfortunately, Chen Wei's talent has nothing to do with alchemy. He also thought about learning to become an alchemist by himself through online teaching videos. But without a master to lead the way, he didn't make much progress relying on online teaching videos. Through online self-study, Chen Wei only learned how to distinguish and confirm the medicinal properties of medicinal materials, and which derivatives of plant-based pets can be used as medicinal materials for alchemy. At least so far, Chen Wei has not heard of a self-taught alchemist in Donghu. After chatting and running, Chen Wei returned to the apartment with a sweat on his body. After a while, Chen Wei, who had just finished taking a shower, was sitting on the bed practicing meditation on the Source Star. He didn't plan to go to the Beastmaster Association for training today. After all, renting a venue for a day is also a high cost, and the practice of telekinesis can also be done in the room. Not far away, Kei Ling, who was sitting on the sofa, was opening her big watery eyes, and the ice crystals on her head were still emitting blue and white light. She was concentrating and using telekinesis to control the dumbbells to move continuously in the air, but unfortunately, she could only maintain telekinesis for more than 10 seconds each time. Bang! bang, bang, so Chen Wei could hear the dull sound of the dumbbells falling on the sofa every once in a while. After going back and forth like this for a few times, it seemed that the weight of the 2.5 kilograms dumbbells was a bit light, so Kayling began to use telekinesis to add dumbbell plates to the dumbbells intermittently, but her progress in adding dumbbell plates was extremely slow. More than 10 minutes passed, and she hadn't installed the dumbbell plates yet, even though it was very simple when she saw the Beastmaster operate it. After trying several times, Kayling, who is mentally exhausted due to excessive use of telekinesis, impatiently slapped the dumbbells with her tail, but she never intended to use her tail to install them. Chen Wei had previously told her, use telekinesis as much as possible in today's training, unwilling to admit defeat. She squinted her eyes and began to rest, ready to try again later. The addition of dumbbells does not require the use of the tail. Chen Wei sat on the bed meditating on the Source Star, while Kayling was practicing telekinesis on the sofa. Both parties did their own things, but there was an unspeakable tacit understanding. One person and one pet maintained this state of practice for a day. After a few days, both of them had gradually adapted to such a monotonous and boring life. A luxurious villa near the center of Shushan City has an alchemy room dedicated to alchemy. In the center of the alchemy room, there is an ancient black-brown medicine cauldron. There are 2 spitting dragon heads above the medicine cauldron, and below it, there is a dark golden dragon that seems to be roaring. There are many fine holes in the dragon's huge mouth, emitting orange-red flames. The top of the medicine cauldron is a brown-red cauldron cover, and the holes on the cauldron cover are steaming. In the center of the front of the medicine cauldron, there is a round transparent crystal essence, which can observe the situation inside. Liu Menging was opening the transparent crystal hole at this time, and then continuously putting various medicinal materials into the cauldron. Not long after the medicinal materials entered the cauldron, they were refined into white powder. Next to Liu Menging was a brilliant king-level pet, Shuo puppets, that was constantly spewing flames into the cauldron. It had a pair of pointed ears, with tiny titanium crystals scattered around its ears, and a cluster of orange-red flames burning in its hair. There was a pair of bright red gemstone eyes above its elegant and majestic cheeks, and the body was covered with fiery red hair. Its limbs were slightly thick, and there seemed to be a faint smoke rising from the place where its feet stood. Hongyu raised the temperature of the flame by 3 levels. Liu Menging closed the small round door on the medicine cauldron and transmitted it with his mind. Hearing this, the flame spewed from the mouth of the Shuo puppets changed from orange-red to dark red. Liu Menging felt the constant changes in the cauldron with a solemn expression. Under the high temperature, the white medicinal powder gradually began to turn reddish, as if glowing slightly. A few minutes later, she poured the transparent liquid in a white jade bottle into the cauldron. As the liquid and powder merged with each other, the cauldron slowly emitted a soft green light. When the light disappeared, a pile of unknown medicine in a paste-like state was left in the medicine cauldron. Hongyu, stop! Liu Menging immediately passed the order upon seeing this. The flame in the mouth of the Shuo puppet disappeared instantly. It shook its head. It was obvious that the continuous output of the flame for a long time, motionless, made its neck a little stiff and uncomfortable. Liu Menging smelled the medicinal fragrance coming from the cauldron, observed the luster of the paste, and a faint smile appeared on her face. This furnace of the 3rd level Wanling ointment seemed to be successfully refined, and the quality looked good, reaching the excellent level. Thank you for your hard work. You controlled the temperature very well today. She touched Huangyu's head affectionately again. Surprisingly, the flame burning on Huangyu's head did not cause any damage to Liu Menging's tender hands. Liu Menging put the ointments in the cauldron into the white jade bottle one by one and walked out of the stuffy alchemy room. Looking at Gu Yun who was waiting outside the door, she smiled and said, "Are there any talents worth noting among the people who came for the interview recently? There are 183 interviewees in the past few days, and only 2 of them have awakened their innate talents." Gu Yun added, "One is a junior alchemist who has awakened the talent for fire control, and the other is an appraiser who has awakened the talent for identification." Liu Menging exclaimed, "Not bad, there are actually 2 more. Then let's follow the old rules and finish the interview tomorrow afternoon, okay, President Liu?" Gu Yun took it for granted that every interview of a talent awakener in the puppet mall must be personally assessed by the lady. "By the way, has Chen Wei not come to work these days?" Liu Menging's tone was a little flat. "Yes." Gu Yun's body stiffened slightly. "I hope to see him at work in the company tomorrow morning." The phone rang. and Liu Menging said casually after looking at the message. I understand, Gu Yu nodded, then silently followed Liu Menging's steps and left, always keeping a half-step distance back while walking. Chapter 24 Facing Recruitment. In the evening, when the sun was setting, the whole city was slightly reddened by the crimson sunset. On the bed without a trace of debris, Chen Wei, with his eyes closed, slowly exhaled, and then opened his eyes with a bit of excitement. Even though the source star broke through the second level, his meditation practice speed was still as efficient as before. After these few days of diligent meditation practice, Chen Wei has made considerable progress in the practice of mental power. The source star in his mind is also constantly nurturing and changing his mental power, and the surface of his body is overflowing with light blue light. The mobile phone on the table vibrated slightly, and Chen Wei got up and glanced at the screen of the mobile phone. It was a message from Gu Yun. The mall happens to have 5 titanium crystal puppets that need to be identified. Do you have time to identify them tomorrow? 5? That's 50,000 star coins. He stretched lazily and looked at Kei Ling, who was still training her telekinesis hard. He murmured, it seems that I have to work hard to earn money to support my family tomorrow. Yes, I will go to work on time tomorrow. After sending the message, after seeing the OK that was instantly responded by QQ, Chen Wei lifted up Kei Ling, who was resting on the sofa. Work is work, but you can't slack off in your training. The next morning, Chen Wei, who arrived early, found that the spacious office was empty. It seems that the work at the puppet mall is more leisurely than I expected. I came to the right company. After he went in, he found a seat and sat down casually, then played with a ballpoint pen in his hand boredly. Looking at the ballpoint pen in his hand, Chen Wei had a flash of inspiration. After summoning Kei Ling, Chen Wei, who had nothing to do, began to teach her to learn the language of Blue Star. This is your name. You can try to use telekinesis to control the ballpoint pen to write your own name. Chen Wei first wrote the big words Kei Ling on the notebook, and then passed the idea to Kei Ling. Simple. Kei Ling used telekinesis to control the ballpoint pen and wrote 2 crooked characters. Yes, that's it. Write a few more and get familiar with the subtle control of telekinesis. Looking at the slightly sloppy words Kei Ling on the notebook, Chen Wei smiled. Feeling the fluffy touch in his hands, Chen Wei's face was filled with an excited smile. Such a life is simply like heaven. Chen Wei was lying on the sofa in the office. There were 3 cute puppets of slightly different colors lying on his chest, and he was rubbing a docile puppet cat in his hand. Only one lively puppet escaped from Chen Wei's clutches. At this time, it was lying on the chair, staring at the inexplicably moving ballpoint pen on the desk, with curiosity in its eyes. Chen Wei didn't forget the business. Before petting the cat, he had spent more than 10 minutes to identify the 5 titanium crystal puppets in the office. What disappointed Chen Wei was that there were no cats with particularly outstanding talents among the 5 titanium crystal puppets sent by the staff, and they were all of medium-level special races. After rubbing the titanium crystal puppets, Chen Wei printed out the identification report documents of the 5 titanium crystal puppets and stamped them with his appraiser's private seal. Then he took a photo of the identification report with his private seal with his mobile phone and uploaded it to the official website of the Appraisal Association. This pet identification process requires each appraiser to be responsible for the pets he has identified, so as to confirm the authenticity of the report. Donghu has strict implementation standards for the source of pet identification reports. Excuse me, are there any titanium crystal puppets that need to be identified? Chen Wei, who was burdened with a huge loan, was not satisfied. He sent a message to Gu Yun on QQ. Please wait a moment, President Li will be here soon. Do you have to trouble Sister Muning for this kind of thing? After seeing the message, Chen Wei hurriedly sat up straight and glanced at the office. To be honest, although Chen Wei called her Sister Muning, he was actually very afraid of Liu Muning in his heart. It was still the familiar sound of the door being pushed open. Chen Wei looked up and saw Liu Menging's exquisite and refined face, and he couldn't help but hold his breath. Her fluffy hair was slightly curled and draped over her shoulders. She was wearing a black dress that matched her perfect figure. Although it looked simple, it was particularly exquisite and high-end. Looking at Chen Wei, who was a little restrained, Liu Menging showed a confident smile on her face. How do you feel about going to work today? It's pretty good, but the number of titanium crystal dolls identified is not enough, Chen Wei replied without looking away. The number of titanium crystal dolls sold in the puppet mall is limited every month, so there are only a dozen or so identifications per month. Are you short of money recently? Liu Menging was a little curious. Yes, Chen Wei said concisely. Liu Menging, then are you interested in accepting my funding or joining the Liu family? I am optimistic about your future. What kind of funding can I get, and what responsibilities do I need to bear? Chen Wei was not surprised. He knew that there is no free lunch in the world, so he asked directly. Liu Mengning said slowly, you just need to practice and become stronger. I will give you a quota of 100,000 star coins every month. As your strength increases, the investment will also increase. These will be written in the contract. As long as your source star can be advanced within 2 years, then the remaining time can be added to 3 years for your source star to continue to practice and advance, and so on, until the source star reaches the 6th level. If your source star stagnates within the limited time, then you will have to join the Liu family. If you can reach the king level beast master before the age of 29, then my investment in you will be free, and those funds will be regarded as a gift for your promotion to the king, and I will establish a good relationship with you. Because the surprise came too suddenly last time, her handling method was a bit problematic. So this time Liu Mengning decided to directly recruit Chen Wei. Maybe she could achieve her ideal faster. There was a sudden silence in the office. Chen Wei hesitated and was also a little moved. If it were someone else, he would think it was humiliating, but the person in front of him was Liu Mengning. He didn't expect Liu Mengning to have such high expectations for him, to become a king-level beast master before the age of 30. A king-level beast master is a powerful person with a title in any city in Donghua, which is a difficult goal to achieve. And as far as Chen Wei knows, there are only a handful of beast masters in Donghua who can become king-level beast masters before the age of 30. Compared with this goal, his dream of winning the title of champion in the National Youth Beast Master competition before graduating from college seems particularly simple. Liu Mengning's charming eyes were a little curious, looking at the hesitant Chen Wei. She did not interfere, but quietly waited for Chen Wei's answer. At this time, Guyun, who was standing behind Liu Mengning, looked astonished. She slightly opened her rosy and attractive lips, looking at the hesitant Chen Wei, and an inexplicable jealousy surged in her heart. What virtue and ability did this young man in front of him have to make the lady pay so much attention to him? Chapter 25, Betting. Chen Wei frowned, then shook his head helplessly, and the hesitation in his eyes gradually dissipated. It must be said that for a moment, Chen Wei really wanted to hug the thigh of the rich woman in front of him and reach the peak of his career as a beastmaster. But Chen Wei still remembered his original dream. He wanted to travel with Kei Ling, meet more cute and interesting partners, and do exciting things together, instead of being confined to this small Shushan city. Even if Chen Wei felt that he could enter the door of the king level before the age of 30, he still didn't want to gamble on the tiny probability of failure. Chen Wei looked at the intellectual and elegant mature sister in front of him with a sharp gaze, smiled and said, "It's a very tempting proposal, but it seems that I am the only beneficiary of this investment. You bear all the risks. Aren't you afraid of losing all your money? It's like painting. It takes 10 days to paint a piece of water and 5 days to paint a piece of stone. I believe in my vision. As for whether it will lose money, time will prove the answer to us, right?" Liu Mengning smiled confidently, and her calm tone was full of unquestionable affirmation. Chen Wei was slightly stunned after hearing this. He was somewhat moved by such a resolute affirmation. Perhaps this was the charm of Liu Mengning. After being surprised, a special idea suddenly popped up in his mind. "Sister Mengning, I'm very sorry," Chen Wei said sincerely. "What?" Guyun's heart skipped a beat, and she cried out in her heart. At this moment, her breathing became rapid. She looked at Chen Wei in shock, as if she couldn't believe that he could actually refuse Mr. Liu's recruitment. If Chen Wei accepted the Liu family's funding, he might not be able to break through to become a king-level beast master within the limited time, but there was still a high probability that he could become a master-level existence. Such an existence is a rare figure in Shushan City. It's really a drought that dies of drought and a flood that dies of flood. If she were in the other place, she would wish that the target of the young lady's investment was herself. Liu Mengning frowned slightly. Is the investment resource not enough? In addition to star coins, I can also add some beast resources. No, it's not a resource problem. I'm just used to freedom and don't want to join a family. How can joining a family be unfree? Just complete the corresponding tasks issued by the family, just like your current part-time job. Her tone was a little puzzled. Chen Wei was silent for a while. This was a rare opportunity, so maybe he could give it a try. He asked, Sister Mengning, do you accept disciples? Since the last interview, Chen Wei has specially searched for all the information about the puppet mall. The Liu family is a famous beast family in Shushan City and a shareholder of the puppet mall. The specific information of the members is unknown. But Liu Mengning's information can be found on the internet. The honors she has won include the champion of the Shushan City Alchemy Competition and the runner-up of the Hanyang Province Alchemy Conference. Chen Wei thought that being able to win the runner-up in the Hanyang Province Alchemy Conference meant that Liu Mengning was at least a senior alchemist. The minimum standard to become a senior alchemist is to be able to independently refine a 5th-level elixir. As far as Chen Wei knows, even the president of the Shushan City Alchemist Association is only a senior alchemist. And in terms of cultivation resources, 5th-level elixirs are much more precious than 5th-level beast resources. Disciple, Liu Mengning frowned slightly when she heard this, and a trace of surprise rarely appeared on her snow-white face. She seemed to be lost in thought and murmured. Is it okay? Chen Wei continued to ask tentatively. Liu Mengning then looked at Chen Wei with a smile. Of course. No. I don't plan to accept a disciple at the moment, Liu Mengning. I thought you were an honest child, but I didn't expect you to play tricks on me. After Chen Wei heard this, the expectation on his face suddenly turned into disappointment. He coughed twice to cover up his embarrassment. Seeing Chen Wei's face turn from sunny to cloudy, Liu Mengning smiled. How about we both take a step back and make a bet? What bet? 3 months later, our mall will hold a puppet cup. If you can win the championship, I will accept you as my disciple. If not, you will have to accept the family's investment honestly. Chen Wei was immediately moved when he heard this. The Puppet Cup is just a small competition, and only junior beast masters are eligible to participate. The prize for the champion is the qualification to purchase titanium crystal dolls and purchase discounts. Of course, you can also get a discount. The runner-up and third place will be rewarded with 100,000 and 50,000 star coins respectively. Most of the junior beast masters who participated in the competition used juvenile pets, and only a small number of contestants had pets above the 1st level. Thinking of this, Chen Wei breathed a sigh of relief. If he couldn't even beat the small puppet cup, then he wouldn't have to mix. So he said confidently, of course, I'll bet. Okay, it's a deal. Liu Mengning smiled. The little rascal is still too young. Boss Liu, do you want to accept Chen Wei as your disciple? Looking at Chen Wei's figure that had already gone far away, Gu Yun couldn't help but speak. How is that possible? With my personality, I'm not suitable for teaching students. Liu Mengning looked at the sky outside the window. His tone was very happy. As if sensing the assistant's inner confusion, she smiled and said, there is only one champion in this puppet competition. The adult 2nd level lower level extraordinary pet can completely crush any pet below the 1st level. The probability of him winning is almost 0. Gu Yun swallowed her saliva, blinked in confusion, and hesitated in disbelief. Doesn't the Puppet Cup only allow junior beast masters to participate, and the age of the pet cannot be more than 1 year old? How can there be a beast master with a 2nd level extraordinary pet? Who stipulates that junior beast masters cannot have 2nd level pets? For some talented geniuses, rules are meant to be broken. It's just a short 3 months. If he can beat that little guy, it's no problem for me to accept such a genius as my student. Squinting her eyes, Liu Mengning slowly exhaled, and then turned to look at Gu Yun, but her eyes were full of expectations for Chen Wei. Today, it only took more than an hour of appraisal time, and Chen Wei could leave work gloriously. This part-time appraisal job is really easy. The only pity is that he was rejected by Sister Muring today and failed to become her apprentice, otherwise he would have taken off directly. Sitting on a bus to the Beast Tamer Association, Chen Wei thought regretfully while stroking the colorful spirit wrapped around his wrist with his left hand. But it's okay, there's still a chance. As a local of Shushan City, Chen Wei has watched the Puppet Cup many times. The strongest one was only won by a beast master with a 2nd level pet. If daily practice is to accumulate the potential of pets, then fighting is the fastest way for pets to develop their potential. Chen Wei plans to take K Ling to the Beast Tamer Association to see if he can find an evenly matched opponent. He is determined to win the championship of the Puppet Cup. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.